Bus accident in Dhading kills 19. Government forms a task force to probe the Prithvi highway tragedy. Curfew imposed in Birganj following tensions between youth groups. Peace rally held after situation stabilizes in Rohtahat. Iran warns of retaliation against any US strikes. Foreign Minister says Tehran will defend itself in the Middle East. Russian President Vladimir Putin declares his country's nuclear forces an absolute priority. Remarks come weeks after US-Russia arms control treaty expires. Major winter storm pounds US East Coast. Thousands of flights cancelled as blizzard hits New York for the first time in 9 years. And Jalakil secures 3-0 win over Nepal Police. Victory moves team to 9th place in National League standings. Good evening, I am Sarah Sapsanamarai. Welcome to NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 1:15 p.m. in London, 10:15 p.m. in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in detail. The government has set up a task force to probe the road incident involving a passenger bus which led to the death of at least 19 persons with injuries to 25 others. The bus was carrying passengers from Pokhara to Kathmandu when it met with an accident in Benighat Rorong municipality, Baisi Gaura in Dhading along the Prithvi highway last night. Home Ministry spokesperson Anand Kafle announced today that a 5-member task force led by a joint secretary has been formed to investigate the incident. The task force has been instructed to conduct an investigation and provide a report on the accident. Of the 19 people who lost their lives in the crash, 13 have been identified so far. Among the injured passengers, 22 are currently receiving treatment at various hospitals in Kathmandu. Meanwhile, Krishna Raj Manandhar, trapped in a bus carcass after the fatal accident at Charodi of Dhading district, was rescued alive in 5 hours. A rescue team cut the bus remains out and removed Manandhar. In another bus accident in Nepal's east, 15 people were injured after the passenger bus plunged off the road in Udaipur district. The accident took place at Andheri Jogi Toll, Udaipur Gari rural municipality along the Madan Bhandari highway. The condition of 2 of the injured is critical. The bus bound to Udaipur's district headquarters, Gaighat from Katari suddenly experienced brake failure and fell about 40 feet off the road. The bus driver, 45-year-old Bikram Rai from Katari Municipality 4, has been taken into custody and an investigation has begun. A curfew has been imposed in Birganj metropolitan city area of Parsa district in southern Nepal in view of the recent law and order situation. Chief District Officer of Parsa, Bhola Dahal, issued the curfew order today, effective from 9:45 a.m., designating 4 zones within the metropolitan area. The curfew follows escalating tensions between 2 communities after a minor dispute over parking in Sripur area of Birganj on Sunday. Taking the security situation into account, the District Security Committee recommended the curfew under Section 6A of the Local Administration Act 2028. The curfew restricts movement and prohibits gatherings, rallies, demonstrations, meetings or blockades within the designated area. However, essential vehicles such as ambulances, fire trucks, hearses, health workers' vehicles, media personnel, pre-scheduled university exam candidates and exam staff, tourists, vehicles of diplomatic missions and human rights workers and air travelers are allowed to move. Elsewhere in Rohtahat district, the curfew imposed in Gaur following a dispute was lifted today at 10 a.m. The district administration office stated that the situation in the area is gradually returning to normal. Meanwhile, a peace and harmony rally was held this morning in Gaur Municipality 6, Subagad, led by civil society to promote calm. The rally included leaders from both Hindu and Muslim communities, local administration officials, representatives of various political parties and local residents. Community leaders urged all parties to remain calm, not to be provoked by anyone, and maintain social harmony. We're going for a short break here. More news coming up. You're watching NTV World and this is Primetime News. Welcome back. The Election Commission has urged the people's representatives of the local level not to involve in the election publicity campaigns. In order to keep the free, fair, impartial, transparent, fearless and economized environment for the upcoming March 5 elections, the Election Commission has made the plea to locally elected representatives. Citing reference of the implementation of Election Code of Conduct, the Commission has reminded the responsibility of the concerned stakeholders to strictly comply with the code. According to the Commission, it has been monitoring whether or not the political parties, candidates and concerned are fully complying with the Election Code of Conduct. The Commission has expressed serious concern over complaints and grievances received that some local representatives participated in the promotion of political parties and candidates contrary to the election code. According to the code, related provisions, local executive office bearers may participate in election campaigns of their respective political parties in local levels other than the one they were elected, yet there is a clear provision that they cannot use government resources and facilities. The Commission has cautioned local people's representatives not to engage in poll publicity campaign in a way to contravene the existing code. The Lumbini provincial government has granted principal approval for drafting two significant bills focused on Thadu communities' customary systems and on the stray cattle management. According to the officials, the cabinet moved to institutionalize Thadu traditions to ensure their legal recognition and generational transfer. This step for the Thadu community follows long-standing local demands and is expected to positively impact their social and economic rights. Likewise, the government is addressing the stray cattle crisis in the province, where over 12,000 abandoned animals have been identified. Currently, 39 cow shelters across the various districts of Lumbini province manage nearly 9,000 cattle, despite data showing capacity for over 11,000. The proposed act aims to clarify roles between provincial and local levels to improve animal health services while reducing road accidents and crop damage. Nepal is preparing to introduce ethanol-blended fuel after a recent directive from the government of Nepal cabinet to mix ethanol with petrol as part of a gradual energy transition. The move aims to reduce the country's heavy dependence on imported petroleum supplied through Nepal Oil Corporation, but also supporting domestic biofuel production. Ethanol, a renewable fuel typically produced from agricultural sources such as molasses or cassava, can help lower certain harmful emissions compared with conventional petrol. Officials say implementation had been delayed for years due to limited domestic production capacity and the need for higher purity ethanol required for fuel blending. International news coming up next. For now, a short break. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has warned that his country would be forced to strike back at U.S. interests in the Middle East in response to any renewed attack. In an interview with CBS, Araghchi said any U.S. military strike would constitute an act of aggression and that Tehran would respond in self-defense, warning Washington that Iran would exercise what it called its legitimate right to retaliate.
Well, I think as a sovereign country, we have every right to decide for ourselves, by ourselves. We have developed this technology by ourselves, by our scientists, and it's very dear to us because we have paid a lot, we have paid a huge expense for that. We have been under sanctions for at least 20 years, and we have lost our scientists, and we have had a war because of that. So that is now a matter of dignity and pride for Iranians, and we are not going to give it up. There is no legal reason to do that. While everything is peaceful, while everything is safeguarded by the agency, while we...
Russian President Vladimir Putin has said developing Russia's nuclear forces is an absolute priority in remarks released on Sunday, weeks after the expiry of the last remaining nuclear arms control treaty between Moscow and Washington. Putin delivered such comments on Defender of the Fatherland Day, a state holiday observed on 23rd February and traditionally marked by military ceremonies and displays of patriotism as tensions with the U.S. remain elevated.
Безусловным приоритетом остается развитие ядерной триады, которая служит гарантией безопасности России, позволяет эффективно обеспечивать стратегическое сдерживание и баланс сил в мире.
Putin's comments come ahead on the fourth anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, foreign ministers of the European Union gathered in Brussels today for talks focused on sustaining military and financial support for Ukraine, as well as addressing the latest developments in the Middle East. The meeting, chaired by the bloc's foreign policy chief, is expected to cover additional assistance for Kyiv amid ongoing fighting with Russia, including ammunition supplies and long-term security commitments. Ministers are also set to exchange views on the humanitarian situation on Gaza, regional stability and diplomatic efforts to prevent further escalations. The ministers are also expected to review further steps to strengthen EU cohesion on foreign policy, including new aid packages, diplomatic initiatives and coordinated responses to security threats. North Korea's ruling Workers' Party has again chosen Kim Jong-un to be its General Secretary. The announcement, which was made at a rubber stamp party congress in Pyongyang, comes as little surprise, given the Kim family has ruled by dictatorship since the late 1940s. State-run media has said that under Kim's leadership, North Korea radically improved its war deterrence with the nuclear forces as its pivot. Despite long-standing international sanctions, North Korea has continued to build its nuclear capabilities, regularly testing banned intercontinental missiles. Kim, who took control of the regime after his father's death in 2011, has invested heavily in the nuclear weapons program, turning Pyongyang into a far bigger challenge for the West and especially the U.S. Members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most powerful and feared criminal organizations in Mexico, have unleashed a wave of violence across 20 Mexican states. They torched businesses and erected burning blockades in retaliation to the killing of their leader, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, who died in custody on Sunday shortly after being captured by Mexican special forces. El Mencho, Mexico's most wanted man, was seriously injured in a firefight between his bodyguards and the military commandos deployed to capture him. He died while the military was transporting him from the town of Tapalpa in Jalisco State to the capital, Mexico City. At least 6 of El Mencho's security guards were also killed in the operation, while 3 members of the Mexican military were injured, the Defense Ministry has said. Rodrigo Duterte personally authorized murders and handpicked some of the victims of his war on drugs, the International Criminal Court heard today as proceedings against the former Philippines president kicked off. ICC Deputy Prosecutor Mame Mandeye Niang said that the week-long confirmation of charges hearings, where judges will decide whether to open a full trial against Duterte, was a reminder that those in power are not above the law. The 80-year-old was not present at the court, granted a defense request for him not to appear, despite judges ruling he was fit to take part. Supporters and relatives of victims of the anti-drug campaign traveled from the Philippines and across Europe to attend the hearing, calling it a crucial moment for accountability. Duterte has repeatedly denied wrongdoing and defended the crackdown as necessary to combat narcotics. More international updates and sports news coming up next. For now, a short break. A major storm is hitting the U.S. East Coast, and more than 5,000 flights within, into or out of the country have been cancelled for today. Winter storm warnings stretch from North Carolina to northern Maine, with warnings also in place in parts of eastern Canada. Up to 2 feet of snow is expected in some places. It's the first time in 9 years that New York City has been under a blizzard warning. The snowstorm also has snarled travel along the East Coast, from Washington to England, New England in fact, with officials urging people to stay off the roads. Young rangers help protect wildlife in northeast China's forests. A team of young rangers is bravely combating illegal logging and poaching in a harsh environment, helping protect the habitat of wildlife in a core area of northeast China, Tiger and Leopard National Park in Wangqing County of Jilin Province. The team was established last October and comprises about a dozen young patrollers. They are tasked with safeguarding wildlife in the forest area that is home to roughly 20 Siberian tigers and more than 40 Amur leopards. Jia Jiwei, a wildlife ranger of the team, said they have developed special methods to protect themselves if they encounter dangerous animals in the forest. In just 3 months since its establishment, the rangers have assisted in solving 22 cases related to illegal logging and poaching and have rescued 31 wild animals. A 25-meter wooden art installation was set ablaze at Nikola Lenivets in Russia's Kaluga region as part of celebrations marking Maslenitsa, a traditional festival signaling the end of winter. Large crowds gathered at the open-air art park to watch flames engulf the towering structure, designed by contemporary artists as a temporary centerpiece for the annual event. The burning of the installation is a highlight of Maslenitsa festivities, symbolizing the farewell to winter and the welcoming of spring. It is observed in the week leading up to Lent in the Orthodox Christian calendar and is traditionally marked by public gatherings, folk performances, and the burnings of effigies. Organizers said the event drew visitors from across Russia despite cold temperatures. Time now for a sports update. Jalakhill Youth Club registered a victory over Nepal Police Club in today's match of the ENFA National League. In the match held today at ENFA Complex in Sadobato, Jalakhill defeated Nepal Police 3-0. In a one-sided game, the goals for Jalakhill were scored by Nicholas Hamilton, Yuvraj Thakal and Vivek Darlani Magar. With this win, Jalakhill has earned 9 points from 6 matches and is currently in the 9th position. Nepal Police, with 4 points from the same number of the matches, is in the 14th position. Apart from Himalayan Sherpa Club, the league features 13 8-division teams along with regional sides, including Laliguras Association, Kakri Bihar Youth Club, Navajana Jagriti Club and Chitlang Football Club. Nepal's women's football sensation Sabitra Bhandari has issued a public plea for support as she battles a serious knee injury. Bhandari, known as Samba, says she needs complex surgery and rehabilitation. She is currently in New Zealand. She hopes to travel to Qatar for treatment in her statement, and she said the estimated cost is around $80,000. The financial support available to her is largely insufficient. Bhandari is Nepal's all-time leading goal scorer. She is also the first Nepali woman to play professional football in Europe. She previously underwent surgery in Qatar in 2021 and made a successful return to international football. Her appeal has sparked widespread attention and renewed focus on support systems for women athletes in Nepal. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the headlines once again. Bus accident in Dhading kills 19. Government formed task force to probe the Prithvi highway tragedy. Curfew imposed in Birganj, falling tensions between youth groups. Peace rally held after situation stabilizes in Rohtahat. Iran warns of retaliation against any US strikes. Foreign Minister says Tehran will defend itself in the Middle East. Russian President says his country's nuclear forces an absolute priority. Remarks come weeks after US-Russia arms control treaty expires. Major winter storm pounds US East Coast. Thousands of flights cancelled as blizzard hits New York for the first time in 9 years. And Jalakhill secures 3-0 win over Nepal Police. Victory moves team to 9th place in National League standings. That is all for the moment here on Prime Time News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and visit our official website nepaltelevision.com. I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai. Thanks for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World.
Facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells a story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by.
Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
जानुभएको छ म पनि पुगेर आएँ दुधकुण्ड असाध्यै पवित्र स्थल यो हिमाल काखमा रहेको तीर्थस्थल हो पुण्यस्थल हो देवस्थल हो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकचोटि पुग्नै पर्दो रहेछ त्यहाँ पुगेर जुन आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ कहीँ पनि पाइँदैन भन्ने चाहिँ महसुस भयो
आनन्द लाग्यो भएन मस्त लाग्यो अनि यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ आएर तपस्या गरेर बस्नु जस्तो जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई
एकदमै राम्रो लाग्यो हैन प्रकृतिले दिएको रमणीय तीर्थस्थल हैन जो कोही पनि एकचोटि चाहिँ यहाँ आएर एकचोटि भ्रमण गरेर दर्शन
Bagmati province boasts the federal capital Kathmandu, which is the center of attraction. Kathmandu Valley is a tourism hub of Nepal, as it has the only operational international airport of the country. Kathmandu is also the only entry point for those reaching Nepal by air. Bagmati province is also the place with the most tourist destinations and tourism-related activities. This province offers several attractions for both domestic and foreign tourists. Today, we take you to some of the beautiful destinations of Bagmati province, which is rich in culture and heritages. The capital of Nepal, the place with most tourist destinations, major destination for both domestic and foreign tourists. Province rich in culture and heritages. It is a beautiful valley of 3 districts, Kathmandu, Bhaktapur and Lalitpur. The valley offers best environmental conditions. The region is also considered exceptional in terms of historical, cultural and natural artifacts and political history. Let us visit first Pashupatinath, which is popular around the world among Hindu pilgrims. This is Pashupatinath temple. Lord Pashupatinath is the real name of Lord Shiva. Pashupatinath temple and the premises have long been the center of faith of Hindus around the world. It is one of the 7 World Heritage Sites in Kathmandu Valley. We now take you to another significant heritage in the valley, which is Swayambhunath. A popular monastery located in the west of Kathmandu. Thousands of tourists reach Swayambhunath every day. Foreign tourists who reach Kathmandu do not miss out on Swayambhunath. While domestic visitors flock to this heritage on holidays. Swayambhunath is one of the preferred destinations of tourists in Kathmandu. Another heritage is Bodhanath. Bodhanath is the center of faith for Buddhists. This is the largest hemispherical stupa of Nepal. The monastery is built on massive 3 layers. Heritage has become a preferred destination for both domestic and foreign tourists. Let us now go to Basantapur Darbar Square of Malla era in Kathmandu. This place can be a significant destination for those with an interest of study and research of history and handicrafts of the Malla era. This heritage holds a unique significance because of its location in the heart of Kathmandu with a lot of human movement. Basantapur Darbar Square draws both domestic and foreign tourists alike. Moving on, we head to Bhaktapur, which is rich in Newari culture. Bhaktapur Darbar Square is considered significant not only for its history, but also for its culture, art and handicrafts. with the objective of promoting nighttime tourism in Kirtipur, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. Yes, Bhaktapur is the smallest district of Nepal. However, it is the richest in terms of heritages. If you reach Bhaktapur but do not make it to Changunarayan, that would leave your trip incomplete. We are now taking you to Changunarayan temple to complete your Bhaktapur visit. This temple, which is located just 6 kilometers north of Bhaktapur city, is not only significant for its historic, artistic and religious aspects, but also for tourism. This temple, which is considered the oldest in the valley, was listed in UNESCO's World Heritage Sites in 1969. We now move on to Lalitpur, also known as Patan. Of the popular three cities of Kathmandu Valley, Patan is considered the oldest. Patan Darbar Square is located in this city. Extraordinary works of Newari art and craft can be seen in this region, which has been decorated with cultural heritages since the 17th century. Such richness tends to draw the tourists. Locals in Kathmandu might have visited all destinations around the city. However, these destinations could be new to foreign tourists and those from outside the valley. These are a few destinations for hiking around Kathmandu for a brief escape from the city. Let us now go to a few tourist destinations near Kathmandu for a couple of nights. Sauraha is one of the major tourist destinations of Nepal. It is considered the best destination for wildlife tourism. The main objective of reaching Sauraha is to visit the Chitwan National Park. Elephant ride, jeep safari and jungle walk are the ways to visit the national park. Most of the tourists find elephant ride the most interesting. Boating must not be missed in Sauraha. Watching the crocodiles in their leisure at the Rapti river bank is a pleasing feeling. Birds from up to Siberia can be seen during winter. A view of the sunset from the bank of Rapti river, a ride in horse, an ox cart, and Sauraha market area are other attractions of this place. Tharu dance and culture further entertain the tourists. One of the most popular trekking trails of the world, Langtang National Park, lies in Bagmati province. Let's have a look at the specialities and attractions of Langtang. Langtang, which spreads across 6,440 meters in Sindhupalchok, Nuwakot and Rasua districts, is the first national park of the mountainous region. National Park includes popular mountainous valley Langtang, Injing and the pilgrimage site of Gosaikunda. Separate trails lead up to Gosaikunda and Langtang Valley inside the Langtang National Park. Rare species of red panda, snow leopards and wild dogs among other animals can be seen during treks in the region. The range of mountains, wild animals, bird watching, valleys and Gosaikunda, among other water bodies, are the major attractions of Langtang. Ruby Valley. Ruby Valley near Langtang is a new tourist destination. Ruby Valley in Dhading district is the closest destination to Kathmandu for trekking. Ruby is a precious stone. The valley is named Ruby Valley as precious stones including ruby and quartz are found here. Wild animals at the verge of extinction, including red panda, mountainous range, lakes, beautiful settlements, yak, traditional cattle rearing. Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sports, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are two popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli river is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trisuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days. Alongside trekking, jungle safari, rafting, city charm and natural sceneries, Bagmati province is equally a good tourist destination for religious tourism. Bagmati province is also popular for religious tourism. There are some major religious shrines in the province. Bhimeshwar of Dolakha is one of the most popular religious destinations of the country. Based on the legends, any bad omens in the country are signaled by the statue of Bhimeshwar. Kalinchok has increasingly become the first preference of tourists in recent time. With the operation of cable car in Kalinchok now, it has increased the attraction for tourists. There is a religious belief that wishes are fulfilled after visiting Kalinchok deity. Gosaikunda, located in Rashwa district, which shares border with Tibet over China, is a very important religious and tourist destination. Religious fairs are held twice a year in Gosaikunda during Dasara and Janai Purnima. This is a great destination for those who prefer trekking and are of spiritual nature. Devghat Dham, along the border of Chitwan and Tanaho, is a well-established religious place among Hindus. Many followers reach this place on the day of Mange Sankranti. This is a popular religious destination among elderly people. There are immense possibilities of tourism in Bagmati province. There are no doubts on tourism aiding in prosperity of the province. However, it is imperative to promote domestic tourism alongside prioritizing foreign tourists. Bagmati province is ahead of other provinces in regards to tourism infrastructures. Most of the tourist destinations are linked by road networks, while there are airway services in many others to reach in a short period of time. Sound arrangements of hotels and homestays have been made for food and accommodation. Therefore, let us travel the country to keep the economy moving and achieve prosperity.
and welcome to NTV World Insight. Now, every day millions of people fight invisible battles, moments of quiet panic in a crowd, the weight of grief carried with a smile, the constant noise of self-doubt, or the exhaustion that comes from pretending to be okay. There are struggles with anxiety, depression, trauma, burnout, and even loneliness in a hyper-connected world. And because they are invisible, they are often misunderstood, minimized, or left untreated in silence, in memory, in the spaces between thoughts. Now, our guest today has dedicated his life to understanding those quiet wars. He has spent his life decoding the most complex thing in the universe, not outer space, but inner space. He is a leading neuropsychiatrist, a researcher, a healer, and a voice for mental well-being in Nepal and beyond. From trauma to transformation, his work asks one profound question: how does the human mind find light after darkness? Please welcome Dr. Sudarshan Narsingh Pradhan. Welcome, Dr. Pradhan.
Namaste.
Now, recently, mental health awareness has been the topic in every social media, in news platform, everywhere. But why do people still suffer in silence?
Actually, what is the thing that the people think that this is not an illness. This is the real taboo. And when they are perceiving such type of problem, especially they used to perceive the physical symptoms like palpitation. It's the anxiety case. If you see that anxiety case, what they perceive that they used to have a palpitation, they have a headache, they have a shortness of breath, they have a difficulty in breathing. These are the issues they used to come. And what really problem is, they usually land up in a not to psychiatrist, they go to in a different specialty. Especially when they feel they are having a palpitation, they used to go to cardiologist. And when they are having some buzzing sounds in the air, they used to go to ENT surgeon. So these all are actually the cause of anxiety. And the cause of anxiety, the background, if you see, there must be some stress factors. The stress factor may be different kinds of stress factors. Stress means that the people may have difficulties in their financial aspect. Maybe they are having difficulties in domestic problem, maybe difficulties in education problem, especially in the student life. These are the issues which they are not able to tackle and not able to solve.
So
and
these are trauma responses.
And these are the responses toward the psychological phenomena causing those symptoms. But actually when they get all the checkup, they don't find anything. Like if you do the ECGs and X-rays and the blood parameters, everything will be normal. But they feel that there is no any problem. Actually, this is not the physical illness, but actually it is a psychological illness. That is really causing a really problematic. This is what issues. And in those conditions, what will happen? They will be wandering around with many doctors, many physicians, many other super specialties. But actually, if they could find it out, what is the real problem behind that? Before coming to us, they are landing to in a different specialty. This is really a big issues in the current scenario.
So what happens when the brain experiences these kind of traumas? Like, is it like a movie, or is it like a scar that stays and burns? How does the brain feel?
Well, actually, it's, the scar is not in the outside. The scar, the problem, the misery, the conflict, that was in their mind. I'll give you one example. There is a husband and wife is there, and the husband is alcoholic. And he used to take alcohol day to night, from morning to day, and even the evening time, daily. There is no responsibilities of the homework and nothing. And what the suffering is the wife. Wife used to suffer with it. She have to see all the things, that the households and the children and everything. Even the husband is not earning properly. And with that, beside that, the husband also becoming abusive, and the physical assault, and these are the issues become. And the wife with this handling this type of situation, she used to have a lot of problems with this then, and that's why she will have a lot of insomnia. She is always scared of the husband coming in the home, that she may be feeling that he will beat me, or he will do all the nuisance, and he will make a lot of problems. So what will happen to that lady whose husband is the alcoholic, and that issues are very, very common, especially in our scenario, and not only in rural areas, in urban areas also. These issues are very, very common, and with that you can see that that woman, that's why she will be suffering in a depression. She will having anxiety, and sometimes even the post-traumatic stress disorder. But even her voices become so low that she is not able to go outside and tell that the husband is doing this thing. Even the husband beat her and make a lot of bruises, and she will go to hospital, she will go to other physician and tell that I fell down. She never used to say that my husband beat me. So you see that this type of things happen, and on the background, this the ongoing stress she is perceiving. With that, she will have a lot of mental issues will become, and she is not able to tackle these things. She becomes lonely. She cannot get any proper help. This is one small scenario that I told you.
So these are the cases of violence and trauma, and there's a saying, when people go through bad experiences, time heals all wounds. But does time really heal the wound that's in your brain, or does the brain just happen to hide it better?
No, actually, time will heal her, but the thing is that if she gets the proper treatment, this is the more important part. They have to be brought to us and then see that what are the reasons. Especially we will find it out, but in my experience I can see that when the patient see that we make her tell her stories.
Yes.
Initially they don't want to reveal it in detail, because this is really a big issue for her, and she doesn't want to, it's become a taboo, it's become a prestigious issue, and that's why she is not coming up. And immediately she will not tell this thing. While talking, gradually what will happen, she started shedding tears, and then after, what is the reason behind that? And she has a lot of traumatic experiences, and she will tell all the things. With shedding tears, she will be telling that these are the issues. And then after, the problem is that after giving some pills, she will not be revealed, she will not be cured. But the problem is the husband, to whom maybe he is having alcoholic and he is having a mental issues also. With that, he need a proper treatment. So you can see that not only one woman getting treatment, but also the causing that the husband becoming alcoholic, that he also need some proper treatment, so that the people both in the family, they will get a proper solution with that.
Right. So Dr. Pradhan, from your experience and expertise, what kind of mental health issues or challenges people come with, and does it differ from age groups, or is it similar to maybe one gender or one community, or is it from a different background?
Oh, there are many more issues that I have been experiencing with this. I can see that I told you that one stigma is attached with this, and besides that, the violence I have just now told about these things, the domestic violence are very much common, and besides that, the incest and the rape issues to the younger child, especially in rural areas, especially in western part of Nepal. I can see I've been involved in some NGOs, and they are bringing the young children coming from there. These are the issues also, very burning issues, the rape case and all these domestic violences to the younger children, especially to the young young child around 12, 13 years. These are the issues. Even not only that, with this I can see that the post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression is very, very common. This is also issues that I have been finding. And beside that, the suicide is also another issue that we have been finding out. Especially a suicide is an attempted suicide. That it's mostly in the hospital cases. In Nepalese scenario, we can see that attempted suicides are almost each and every day around 50 to 60 persons attempting suicide in a various way. Some people may jump from height, taking a poison, sometimes cuts, injuries. These are the issues that usually come to the emergency department.
Is this because of PTSD, like you said?
One thing is not only the PTSD. I'm talking about not only the PTSD. There is another issues like depression. Depression is also one of the principal cause of attempting suicide, and not only the depression, and also the bipolar illness and the schizophrenia, alcohol abuse, the drug abuse. These all are the issues behind the attempting suicide. This is the thing. These issues are very, very common.
So how do you know if someone needs medication or is just talking enough?
They have to be brought by any visitors, family members, friends, any person who they have to do, because they can see that there are some issues with this problem. Maybe having insomnia, maybe having some anxiety issues. The behavior changes. I can say that in one word, their behavior changes, which is not accepted by the society. This is the reason. That means that his or her behavior in the society, which is sometimes not normal. This is totally in a different way. They are talking in a differently. They are behaving in a differently. This attempted suicide is one of the behavior change. Staying almost in a room, a locked room, not interacting with the people, and especially in the children, their academic performance is decreased. So these all are the issues where the mental health will evoke over there, and then we need to see what are the really problems.
Right. So if two people experience the same kind of traumatic experience, and maybe one might develop PTSD, but the other one does not, is it because of upbringing? Is it biology, or is it just mysterious?
No, actually, what is the PTSD is when the diagnostic criteria in the PTSD, what we see is the person used to experience in such a devastating condition where she or he almost used to experience the death issue. Now I am going to die. This type of issues, feeling will occur in that traumatic experience. That may be earthquake, that may be flood, that may be threatening behavior. These all are the issues. Especially you can see that especially war zones like in Gaza and Palestine and in Ukraine, these were war places. In those conditions, you can find these PTSD is very, very common.
Do you think sleep, diet, or even digital platforms, social media, are the reason to anxiety or some symptoms of similar mental disorders?
Well, definitely it is. There's a social media, excessive seeing in a social media, excessive involvement in social media. What will happen that they will be seeing all the violence and everything. Like last time when we have this Gen Z revolution, during that time people used to excessively involve in the social media. They used to see all the burned places, they used to see the all the smokes and all the injuries. With that, they have some triggering factor that they what to do, some dilemma, some anxiety it will provoke definitely. So we do recommend that not to engage longer duration of staying in a social media. I think you need some gap also, just to see and to get the information is thing. But right now, I think to get the information in the right resources is very important, because nowadays social media, some of the fake news are also very common, and with that fake news, the people think that it is really true. So try to understand which one is fake and which one is not, which one is true. So I think to get the information to getting from the real resource places, especially like in the NTV, you can see that you give the real information. Whereas other like these TikTok, these Facebook, these all are the people are putting over their experiences, which may be the fake also.
So social media does shape how mental health is perceived in today.
Not to everybody, but people who are introvert, people who are very much anxiety-prone personalities, these people are affected by this type of news, which is harmful for them. In those conditions, it's better to avoid social media.
So how would a healthy relationship with social media even look like in this era?
It's not that you go away from that social media also. Nowadays, each and every people is very much aware, very much need, but there must be some limited hour also. It's not that completely every time you are engaging, you are involving in the social media. So there are many more things. It's with this, their intellectual power, their academic power, these all will decrease with that. So it's better is we like to make it some gap and not to engage a lot of time in the social media.
So Dr. Pradhan, we have actually curated a small video for you. We asked the general public, what does mental health mean to them?
डाक्टरहरुको सरसल्लाह तपाईको युट्युबहरुमा समाचारमा स्वास्थ्यको धेरै जति पनि नराम्रो छ भने पनि राम्रो कुरा पनि धेरै युट्युबहरुमा देखिन्छ। अब प्राय बच्चाहरुले चाहिँ त्यतातिर ध्यान दिनुहुन्न अनि घरमा पनि अब त्यही वातावरण चाहिँ बाबुआमाले पनि त्यस्तो स्वास्थ्यपट्टि चाहिँ अलिकति बुझ्नु भयो भने बच्चाहरुलाई त्यही हिसाबमा आफू सरै ल्याउनु भयो भने त्यो हिसाबमा बच्चा चल्न सक्छ।
फिलिङ्सहरु सप्रेस गर्ने, इमोसनल सप्रेस गर्ने अनि आफू चाहिँ डिप्रेसनमा जाने जस्तो सिचुएसनहरु पनि आउँछ। अहिले हामीले प्राय देखिरहेको छौं डिप्रेसनमा गएर मान्छेहरुले सुसाइडल केसहरु कति धेरै गरिरा हुन्छ है। यो भनेको चाहिँ एउटा मेन्टल काउन्सिलिङ भनेको चाहिँ त्यही भएर म चाहिँ एउटा प्रिभेन्टिभ मेजर जस्तो पनि हो जस्तो लाग्छ। जनरल पब्लिकहरुको लागि पनि कति कुराहरुमा चाहिँ हामीलाई थाहा हुँदैन, हामी मेन्टली इल भइरा हुन्छौं तर पनि वी आर नट अवेयर कि हामी चाहिँ एउटा सिकनेसको जर्नीमा गइरहेको हुन्छ।
बोट बिरुवामा खेल्दै गयो भने त्यहाँ झार उम्रा हुन्छ, त्यसलाई कसैलाई पानी भएको हुँदैन, कसैलाई तपाईको मल पुग्या हुँदैन, कोहीलाई रोग लाग्यो हुन्छ। त्यो हाम्रो दिमाग डाइभर्ट भएपछि त त्यो मान्छेले त्यो हेल्थलाई एकदम कन्सियस गरेर काम गर्न सक्यो के, त्यसपछि उसको हेल्थलाई त उसले अटोमेटिकै सपोर्ट गर्ने भयो नि त। त्यो हिसाबले नै मेन्टल हेल्थको लागि चाहिँ अति आवश्यकै जस्तो लाग्छ।
अहिलेको मेन्टल हेल्थको बारेमा चाहिँ जस्तै नेपालमा चाहिँ मोबाइल कम्प्युटरहरू चाहिँ एकदम चलाएको देखिन्छ यङ जेनेरेसनमा चाहिँ। त्यो भएको हुनाले चाहिँ लाइक टिकटक एसएनएस चाहिँ धेरै चलाएको हुन्छ। त्यो भएको हुनाले जस्तै स्क्रोल टाइमिङ चाहिँ धेरै नै हुन्छ यो यङ जेनेरेसनमा चाहिँ। त्यो भएको हुनाले इनफ स्लिप चाहिँ हुँदैन, लाइक न्युट्रिसन फुडमा पनि ध्यान दिएको हुँदैन किनकि टाइम स्पेन्ड धेरै भएको हुनाले चाहिँ यसमा चाहिँ कन्ट्रोल गर्न पर्ने देखिन्छ।
Parents have to be very much careful about what the children are doing. Especially the children are also they are very much fond of these in social media, mostly engaging all those things. That what we do is that the parents also used to see in social media, and the same thing the children used to copy what the parents are doing. So what we do suggest that the parents also stop looking after these things, give some time and play with the children. That is the main technique to avoid the social media. You start talking with your children, play with them, indoor games or outdoor games, or go around somewhere places that are looking at good places. So these are the issues to avoid social media, and then it will be better one. So what they do, especially they both start saying that children used to copy the parents. To avoid those things, play with them, so stay with them, eat together, stay together, relax together with the children. It's very important part. This is how we have to teach the children to engage in social activities, not the social media and a mobile phone.
So Dr. Pradhan is actually a former president of SARC Psychiatric Association as well. So we talk about mental health these days a lot more than a decade ago. But is mental health accessible to everyone, or is it just people who can afford it talk about it?
That's a very good question you asked about this thing. Actually, mental health is that what we have to do is it should be accessible to everybody. But the thing is that not only accessible, right now the scenario is they are not understanding what is mental illness. What they feel that mental health is only to the insane people who used to have it, the problem, and then this is the mental health. Not like that. Mental health issues is how their intellectual abilities, how their social activities, how they're interacting with the other people, how is their memory capacity. These all are the issues together to see the mental health awareness, mental health issues that we have to see. And with that, we can see what are the real problems, especially that when any issues like in schizophrenia, in bipolar affective disorder, what they will have, there are the different perceptual disturbances, mood disturbances, these things will occur. With that, totally different scenario will occur.
So do you think therapy and psychiatry in Nepal and other countries like Nepal, is mental health seen as a luxury or actually a necessity?
Oh no, it's not luxury. We can't say that like that. But actually, this is really a word. Awareness is very important. What we are doing right now, each and every last time we have the 10th October is the mental health issue day, and the 10th September is the suicide prevention day. These all the issues these days are that we are providing some type of awareness programs are very much there. But beside that, still this is not effective. Still this is not accessible to the general public. They feel in a different way that this is the thing. So in those conditions, especially we need to go to school and school areas around 9 or 10 school children to educate about the mental health. What is really problem? Especially in those areas, they used to indulge in cigarette smoking or maybe these tablet taking behaviors. These are also another problem and challenging to them. So in those conditions, we need a greater awareness program in school programs also. And beside that, and this is also one of the programs, this is also awareness program so that the people can understand what really the mental health and how we can go ahead and how we can understand the mental health. This is the thing. Mental health, it doesn't mean that one person is totally insane and we see those things. That how you are working here, because you are we are a mentally healthy person. That's why you can work in this condition. If any challenges you have, you solve those problems with your own intellectual capacity. This is what the mental issues, mental health issues, that you are mentally aware and you are mentally well-being, that shows that any problem you can solve. This is how we go ahead, because we can see that not only all the people are mentally ill.
So for people who are fighting these silent battles in their own head, what message would you like to give them?
To the general public, give love and affection to your mentally ill people, and this is their right to get the treatment also. They have their right. So if any person who used to see such type of problem, please do bring to us, then definitely they will be cared. And especially to the rural areas, don't make it in a prison and don't make it in a bounded in a room, a locked room. So they have to come out. Their right to get the treatment. This is what the message have to go.
Thank you so much for joining us today in NTV Insights. That was a very insightful conversation with Dr. Pradhan. Now, for in-depth stories and analysis, do follow our website, www.ntvworld.com, and do follow us on YouTube channel NTV World and social media handle as well. Until next time, see you.
Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sport, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are two popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli river is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trisuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days.
Welcome to the Hinterlands. This weekly show brings together stories from the hinterlands of Nepal, takes you beyond the cities and highways into the heart of Nepal's rural landscapes. I am Rosina Rai and we will be leading you into this journey every week. Welcome back. We begin this episode of the Hinterlands with a heartfelt reminder. Love is endless, unconditional, and timeless. While Valentine's Day is often marketed to the young, a celebration in adjoining district of Kathmandu, Nepal is proving romance only grows richer with age. From the dance floor to the heart, senior couples redefined what it truly means to grow old together.
Love transcends age, and in Nepal, the celebration of love is no longer just for the young. It is for the young at heart. On Valentine's Day, observed around the world every February 14 as a celebration of romance and affection, the historic city of Lalitpur in Nepal's Kathmandu Valley witnessed a heartwarming scene. Instead of candlelight dinners for young couples, it was senior citizens aged 60 and above who took to the dance floor, smiling, laughing, and celebrating decades of companionship. The event brought together elderly couples who have spent a lifetime building families and communities. Many held hands as they danced, others exchanged flowers and warm embraces, proving that love deepens with time. In a society where older generations are deeply respected, the celebration carried a powerful message. Affection and appreciation should not fade with age. The program was organized by the Academy of Culinary Arts Management with a special purpose to honor senior citizens and strengthen intergenerational harmony in Nepali society.
विगतमा चाहिँ यसपालि पनि यो ज्येष्ठ नागरिकहरूको चाहिँ एउटा भ्यालेन्टाइनको आयोजना गरेको छौं जहाँ चाहिँ कि 60 प्लस तर स्टिल रोमान्सिङ भन्ने एउटा टिममा र यसको मूलभूत उसको उद्देश्य भनेको चाहिँ प्रत्येक जोडीको कुनै न कुनै समयमा भरपूर माया हुन्छ तर जीवनकालमा जीवनलाई जिउने क्रममा आफ्नो बच्चा हुर्काउँदै गर्दाखेरि काम गरेर जाँदाखेरि त्यो माया चाहिँ बिर्सिरा हुँदो रहेछ के धेरै जनाको चाहिँ र त्यो मायालाई एकचोटी फेरि पुनः जागरण गर्ने उद्देश्यले चाहिँ हामीले यो कार्यक्रम आयोजना गरेको हौं.
Participants said the event made them feel remembered and valued at a stage in life when celebrations are often rare.
रमाइलो लाग्छ अब यस्तो उत्सव जस्तो हैन मनाउन पाएर अब बुढाबुढीले पनि मनाउनु पर्छ अब आफ्नो चाहिँ रमाउनको लागि पनि हैन एक आपसमा रमाउनलाई पनि चाहिन्छ।
Nepal, a country known for its strong family bonds and cultural traditions, is seeing a growing awareness about the well-being and dignity of senior citizens. Events like this not only spread joy, but also send a broader message that love is timeless, gratitude matters, and every generation deserves to be celebrated. Because in the end, love is not measured in years, but in the moments shared at every age.
After the heartwarming report of elderly lovebirds spotted on 14th of February, we now turn our attention to a true emblem of Nepal's unique wildlife, the spiny babbler bird found in central Dhading, Nepal, and locally known as Kare Bhakur. This rare bird is more than just a species. It is a powerful symbol of Nepal's natural heritage. As the only bird species endemic to Nepal, the spiny babbler highlights the country's rich biodiversity and underscores Nepal's vital role in global conservation efforts. The spiny babbler, locally known as Kare Bhakur in Nepal, is a rare bird species that requires protection. This medium-sized brown bird thrives in forest above 1200 meters and is native to the middle hills of Nepal. First described in 1836, it was once thought to be extinct, but is now recognized as a non-migratory resident that inhabits shrubby, thorny bushes areas in various districts of Nepal. Found only in Nepal, the spiny babbler has become a symbol of the country's rich natural heritage. Recognizing its importance, the Division Forest Office Dhading has launched an awareness campaign in Siddha Rural Municipality to educate local communities about the need to protect this unique species. Supported by the Bagmati province government, the initiative aims not only to conserve the spiny babbler but also to strengthen environmental stewardship in the region. The program focuses on local community members who rely on community forest, teaching them how they can play an active role in protecting their forest and the birds. Through workshops and community discussions, people are learning about forest conservation, biodiversity, and practical steps to safeguard the spiny babbler, ensuring that this emblem of Nepal's natural heritage continues to thrive forever. The spiny babbler, Kare Bhakur, is most commonly seen in the Nalang area of Siddha Lake, though it has also been spotted in Kathmandu, Lalitpur, Chitwan, and Tanahu. Locals recall a time when the birds were hunted due to a lack of awareness about their ecological value. Today, thanks to awareness programs and proactive leadership, efforts are underway to ensure that the spiny babbler is protected. Protecting this bird will definitely help preserve regional biodiversity, safeguard the environment, and provide broader ecological benefits. Moving to the next story, and this reports of the hinterlands offers more than a glimpse of Nepal's upcoming elections. It tells the story of the remote hills and the people often overlooked by political leaders and authorities struggle to receive their voter ID cards. As Nepal approaches the House of Representatives elections on March 5th, debates over voter ID distribution are growing louder in Sangza. Many citizens have voiced frustration, reporting that they were unable to cast their votes because their ID cards did not arrive on time. Next month, Nepal will vote to elect a new batch of House of Representatives, and the country is already immersed in the fervor of election, with candidates busy canvassing and electoral bossy making last-minute preparations. But amid all the fiesta, one community of Belchor, a village in the western Nepal, Sangza, are likely to miss their voting franchise this time. The reason is no voter identification card. Sangja district is home to a total of 1,189 members of the Mazi community, and 8 out of 49 members of the Mazi community are currently unable to vote in this year's elections. Previously, many in the Mazi community were prevented from voting simply because they lacked the required identification.
हाम्रो भोटिङ कार्ड बनिएको छ, हामी एकदम खुसी छौं। अरु नबनेकाको पनि बनाइदिनु पर्यो। हामी बनेकाले पाइन्छ भोट हाल्न।
Although persistent efforts in the past from the community have helped 31 villagers to receive their voter ID cards, bringing renewed hope and excitement this year, the situation of the marginalized community reflects a larger picture in other parts of the country who, despite being eligible by age, are unable to cast ballots just because of lack of document. A major reason behind this issue is systematic hurdles, documentation issue, and lack of information about voter ID registration, including the process and timeline. In Nepal's democracy, every citizen's right to vote is not just a privilege, it is also the responsibility of the state to ensure it. Denying this right further make worse the challenges faced by marginalized communities, placing them at a double disadvantage. Timely distribution of voter ID cards is essential so that communities like the Mazi can fully participate in shaping the future of their nation. Nepal has made a significant progress in child health over the past 2 decades, but it remains off track to meet its place under the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to cut under 5 mortality to as low as 20 deaths per 1,000 live births by 2030. Let's dig deeper.
In the quiet hills and plains of Sudur Paschim province, the first cry of a newborn does not always promise a future. According to the latest Nepal Multiple Indicator Clusters Survey, NMICS, published by the National Statistics Office, 26 newborns die per 1,000 live births in Sudur Paschim. When measured up to the age of 1 year, that number rises to 38 infant deaths per 1,000 births, the highest among Nepal's 7 provinces. Even more alarming, 48 children out of every 1,000 die before reaching their 5th birthday. Provincial Health Directorate data shows that 86 newborns have already died in Sudur Paschim by mid-December of the current fiscal year. Last fiscal year, 156 newborns died. The previous year saw 237 infant deaths. District-wise, Kailali reports the highest numbers. In the last fiscal year alone, 22 newborns died in Kailali, followed by 14 in Kanchanpur and 12 in Achang. Deaths were also recorded across Bajhang, Bajura, Darchula, Doti and Baitari. In just the first 6 months of the current fiscal year, 32 newborn deaths have already been recorded in Kailali. The rising numbers have sparked questions about the effectiveness of maternal and child health programs.
कुपोषण अनि हाम्रो स्वास्थ्य सेवाको पहुँच, स्वास्थ्य सेवाको गुणस्तरता अनि त्यसैगरी अब हामीका बाल विवाहको त्यस्तै खालको समस्या छ हैन अनि छोटो सानो उमेरमा चाहिँ गर्भवती हुने खालको समस्याहरू छ त्यसैगरी चाहिँ महिलाको चाहिँ स्वास्थ्य शिक्षामा पहुँचका कुराहरू छन् यी विविध कुराहरूले under 5 mortality रेटलाई सुदूरपश्चिम प्रदेशमा बढावा दिएको चाहिँ
Provincial health data shows geography plays a major role. Sudur Paschim has some of Nepal's most remote settlements where reaching a hospital can take hours, sometimes days. However, provincial authorities say interventions are underway.
बालबच्चाहरूको स्वास्थ्यको लागि एउटा CBIMNCI भन्ने छ समुदायमा आधारित बाल रोगको एकीकृत व्यवस्थापन कार्यक्रम त्यो चाहिँ आधारभूत स्वास्थ्य सेवा केन्द्र प्राथमिक स्वास्थ्य सेवा केन्द्र त्यसपछि स्वास्थ्य चौकीहरुबाट त्यो सञ्चालन भइराछ भने अस्पताल स्तरबाट चाहिँ FBIMNCI भन्छ फ्यासिलिटी बेस्ड यो बाल रोगको एकीकृत व्यवस्थापन कार्यक्रम त्यो पनि अस्पताल स्तरबाट चाहिँ सुचारु भइराछ र बालबच्चाहरूको अरु विभिन्न कार्यक्रम जस्तो खोपले पनि बालबच्चाको स्वास्थ्यलाई प्रवर्धन गर्छ.
Despite these assurances, overall statistics indicate that infant and child mortality in Sudur Paschim remains a serious public health concern. Health experts say meaningful improvement will require stronger infrastructure, better management of skilled human resources, expansion of safe delivery services, and reliable access to healthcare in remote areas. For many families here, survival still depends not only on birth but on access. Nepal has pledged to meet global sustainable development goals on child survival. However, in provinces like Sudur Paschim, the data suggests that much more needs to be done.
With that report, we come to the end of this episode and we present to you our last story. A story of red coffee cherries in Dhading, a hilly district of Nepal. Farmers are turning coffee into a thriving source of income and their livelihoods. With the growing international demand for Himalayan beans, what was once an experimental crop on steep, barren slopes are now being commercially cultivated across the district, offering a hope and opportunity to local communities.
कफी बाली भनेको यो चाहिँ यो डलर खेती हो जुन आय आर्जनको निम्ति यो विदेशमा पनि निर्यात हुने र स्वदेशमा पनि एउटा यो हाम्रो हिमालय चाहिँ नि के अरे उसको चाहिँ अर्गानिक कफी चाहिँ त्यो विदेशीहरूले मन पराउनु भएर यो डलर खेती हो नगदे बाली तपाईको अन्न बाली भन्दा यो चाहिँ तपाईको लगभग चाहिँ नि 100 गुना बढी चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ यो कफी खेतीले चाहिँ दिन्छ.
The future of coffee cultivation in Nepal looks promising for farmers in Dhading, a hilly district adjoining the federal capital. In Dhading's mid-hill region, farmers are transforming barren slopes into thriving hubs of red coffee cherries. This year alone, the district has produced 3 tons of coffee cherries, signaling the steady growth of the coffee trade in Nepal. What began as an experiment just 4 years ago has evolved into a commercial success. Jamuna and Jwalamukhi rural municipalities together contributed nearly half of this year's production. Previously unfamiliar with coffee cultivation, local farmers have now embraced it as a lucrative source of income. Households are earning up to 500,000 rupees annually from coffee farming. The surge in production has also fueled optimism about meeting growing international demand. While government support has played a role in boosting the coffee sector, farmers in Dhading continue to call for greater assistance, particularly in acquiring processing equipment. Access to better processing facilities would enable them to produce ready-to-sell coffee, reach higher value markets, and increase their earnings. Across the district, around 7 hectares are now dedicated to these high-value crops. Coffee is a potential high-value cash crop, especially in the mid-hills of the country. Although production currently falls short of demand, the sector is poised for growth through expanded cultivation. Improved processing technology and a strategic focus on premium, high-altitude coffee could give a higher yield, say the farmers.
यो कोदो मकै भन्दा चाहिँ अरु खेती भन्दा चाहिँ एकदमै राम्रो उत्पादन दिने. यसमा चाहिँ अब गोडमेल गर्नु नपर्ने लाएदेखिबाट अनि अरु मकै र कोदोलाई जति मेहनत धेरै नपर्ने त्यो कारणले.
According to the data, Nepal exports approximately 17 to 25% of its total annual coffee production to countries such as Germany, Japan, and the United States. Despite the rising international demand for high-quality Himalayan beans, Nepal still imports more coffee than it exports. This clearly highlights the gap between production and market potential. Currently, coffee sells for about 1,200 rupees per kilogram, while processed organic coffee can command significantly higher prices. Coffee cultivation on steep and previously barren land has become an exemplary model for other districts with similar geography. Efforts are also underway to expand coffee cultivation in Khanyabas rural municipality in northern Dhading. Beyond the cities and the headlines, real life continued to unfold. Stories shaped by struggle, strengthened by resilience, and carried forward by a hope. This is the Hinterlands. We shall see you again next week with a new episode of the Hinterlands. Do follow us on our website www.nepaltelevision.com and our social media handles as well as our YouTube channel. We take a leave. See you in the next episode.
C'est nos îles, nous la mer, nous les ciels, la nature qui entoure nous, reflète couleur nous les cœurs, sa même richesse qui nous vise à préserver, pour continuer à exister, sa même richesse nous vise à préserver,
Mauritius is a small island in the heart of the Indian Ocean, where tourism is a major industry contributing significantly to the GDP of the island. Mauritius is home for 1.2 million of inhabitants, and today the country is targeting 2 million of tourism in the coming years, an economic opportunity as well as an environmental challenge for this tiny land.
Ce que nous faisons au niveau de la Tourism Authority, ça englobe dans la perspective du gouvernement, c'est d'aller vers une destination verte avec une certification reconnue d'ici 2030. Et nous sommes en train de travailler avec tous nos partenaires, avec les stakeholders de cette industrie en termes d'emploi. Donc nous comptons presque 30 000 emplois directs, mais si nous comptons au niveau aussi indirect, nous arrivons vers là-bas des 100 000 personnes qui sont liées à ce secteur qui est très prépondérant, mais aussi très importante pour la vie sociale, la vie culturelle de l'île Maurice. Donc il est vrai qu'il faut être prudent dans ce que nous recherchons. Nous ne voulons certainement pas avoir une destination avec une situation de surtourisme qui arrive dans beaucoup de pays, dans beaucoup de destinations, où à ce moment-là, il devient ingérable de pouvoir contrôler un flux où le côté management et le côté destination ne peut soutenir. Donc tout ce qui se fait au niveau du développement, même au niveau du nombre de touristes, on peut avoir les normes très valorisantes, 2 millions, 3 millions, 4 millions, mais est-ce que cela va apporter un plus pour la destination? Ce qu'il faut comprendre et ce que nous essayons de passer comme message, c'est que le tourisme doit faire du bien à la destination avant et non pas l'inverse.
The hotel industry is a major player in the tourism sector, with more than 112 hotels around the island, amounting to more than 13,500 rooms. Thus, a sustainable tourism policy will shape the future of the industry.
Pour nous, aujourd'hui, nous créons un mouvement qui s'appelle le Positive Impact. L'idée hier, tout a commencé, la bonne attitude, il vient le premier hôtel éco-engagé du groupe Attitude. Nous avons envie de positionner ça l'hôtel-là différemment. Pourquoi? Parce que nous sommes très conscients qu'aujourd'hui, si nous ne prenons pas en compte l'environnement, le tourisme pas pour venir dans nos pays. Donc, on va tout dire pour voyage sortir en Europe, pour arriver à Maurice, et ensuite pour tout les déchets, les saletés, partout l'eau, la plage, dans la mer. Donc, nous décidons pour mettre beaucoup de pledges en place, et le plus important pour nous, ça a été d'enlever tout ce qui est plastique à usage unique à la vue de nos clients. Par exemple, aujourd'hui, dans nos bandes la SAM, nous ne pas mettre du thé café d'ici parce qu'il vient dans un sachet plastique à usage unique. Nous venons avec un concept, une boutique en vrac, donc un bulk shop. Les clients rentrent dans le bulk shop, ils ont un petit pot en verre qui sont capables de remplir de café, de thé, de disque. Et nous, en même temps, ce qu'il nous fait en parallèle, nous prenons dans sa pot-là en bulk, nous avons un supplier. Toutes les chambres sont de gagner de l'eau à travers de l'eau chaude, à travers sa solar water panel. Nous offrons de la crème solaire à tous nos clients. Cette crème solaire, elle est fabriquée localement et avec des produits minéraux. Donc si vous servez la crème là ou dans l'océan, il ne pas abîme le monde marin. Nous avons d'autres actions aussi qui nous font, par exemple dans nos bulk shops, nous avons un filet bleu qui nous donne aux clients. Nous encourageons de prendre ça, de attacher ça avec le maillot. Je récupère tous les déchets que je trouve dans l'océan, ramène-les ici, et ici quand je ramène les, qui nous fait, nous séparons. Donc ce qui est capable de recycler, nous avons les recycler, ce qui n'est pas capable d'être recyclé, nous montrons comment nous sommes capables de faire dans un éco-atelier, comment nous sommes capables de faire une décoration avec. Donc beaucoup de clients peuvent venir aujourd'hui parce que de plus en plus, surtout en Europe ou même aux États-Unis, en Australie, ils peuvent commencer à prendre de plus en plus d'ampleur d'être éco-engagés.
The hotel takes great pride in investing in a sustainable education and sensitization campaign to raise awareness and commitment from tourists as well as the local population.
Donc ce centre-là, c'est un centre qui est ouvert au public. Donc nous accueillons aussi bien les enfants et aussi les clients de l'hôtel. Et donc qui nous fait dans ce centre-là, donc c'est un centre éducatif et interactif. Et nous sensibilisons Bandimoun à l'environnement. Donc nous sensibilisons pour protéger l'environnement marin et l'écosystème côtier également. Nous faisons une action concrète avec le client. Nous sensibilisons nos clients à la préservation de l'environnement. Qui action il a à faire liée à ce niveau pour qu'après, quand il aussi retourne dans ce pays, il a continuer sa bonne action-là.
On a quand même d'autres salés. C'est vraiment un outil qui nous sert vraiment pour éducatif, pour montrer les participants qui viennent, les visiteurs qui viennent vers nous, comment ils ont été dehors quand on a fait le snorkeling ou comment ils trouver. Comment tout peut vivre ensemble, en symbiose, les poissons, les corail, comment ils vivent ensemble. Alors imaginez une côte, nous trouvons une bouteille plastique qui peut flotter là. Il n'est pas joli. Alors c'est pour ça qu'il nous a vraiment. Qui garde tout bien propre.
Immerge un hydrophone en bas de l'eau. Un hydrophone, c'est quoi? C'est pour en fait enregistrer le chant des baleines. Donc ce sont les baleines à bosse principalement et ces baleines mâles qui chantaient pendant la période de reproduction pour qu'ils nous gagnent d'informations sur les baleines à bosse, sur la reproduction. Et monte base de données d'un individu de tortue marine qui nous mène à Maurice. Donc ce sont des espèces migratrices et ce sont des espèces protégées. Vraiment un centre éducatif parce qu'il nous vient raise awareness avec nos clients pour que les clients prennent conscience de l'environnement et qu'il est important qu'ils oui, ils vivent dans une île, ils vivent à Maurice, mais nous avons un écosystème riche. Nous avons beaucoup de coraux, nous avons de poissons et qui forme partie, il y a un acteur dans sa mouvement Positive Impact.
The footprint of the tourists on the island will equally influence the ecological path that the industry will choose.
Alors c'est quelque chose qui se développe aussi chez nous. On essaie, nous, à notre domicile, d'être éco-responsable. Et effectivement, quand on va à l'étranger et en voyage comme ça, c'est agréable de trouver un endroit aussi où on retrouve ces valeurs-là, et même plus. Quand on fait des efforts chez nous, on se rend compte qu'à d'autres endroits, donc sur votre île aussi, vous faites aussi beaucoup d'efforts. Et c'est important de montrer ça, et c'est important pour les touristes de respecter ça aussi. Je pense que les touristes, à l'avenir, feront de plus en plus attention aux endroits où ils vont et à la pollution.
To improve the sustainable commitment of the tourism industry, the Tourism Authority in Mauritius has launched on a yearly basis a Sustainable Tourism Award, which highlights and encourages best sustainable practices in all sectors of the industry.
Nous avons démarré le premier Sustainable Tourism Mauritius Award qui récompense l'effort qui a été fait par ces opérateurs-là justement pour aller dans la direction du tourisme durable. Et je dois dire que ça a été un succès parce que l'année dernière, on a eu 115 participants, démontrer la volonté de presque la majorité des opérateurs touristiques mauriciens d'aller vers cet objectif de tourisme durable. Et je dois aussi préciser que le tourisme durable, ça ne concerne pas uniquement les opérateurs touristiques, ça concerne aussi la population.
Mauritius is aiming to secure a sustainable tourism certification, which will confirm the island's commitment towards sustainability. The first step towards that certification starts in a small village in the south, Belle-Ombre.
Nous voulons que la destination Maurice soit certifiée d'ici 2030, certifiée par la GSTC ici, la Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Alors, la région de Belle-Ombre nous sert comme cas pilote, donc pour faire cette certification de la destination, et nous voulons apprendre de Belle-Ombre, de ce qu'ils sont en train de faire de bien.
A sustainable approach in the tourism sector requires a sincere partnership between the various stakeholders, from the major players to the small villagers. Each one should work hand in hand to promote, engage, and also share the benefits derived from the industry.
On reste dans le village Saint-Martin, Belle-Ombre, petit village côtier, pêcheur et laboureur. Actuellement, on a 5 hôtels et beaucoup de monde pour gagner du travail, surtout dans zen. Et donc, du monde qui fait un petit entrepreneur, ça fait tout ça, bien aide nous. En fait, les bisans win, habitants aussi bisans gagnants dans ces affaires-là. Moi, nous apportons dans ces affaires-là, il y a un petit resto, on fait un petit manger tropical, un petit manger, vraiment un petit manger PC. Oui, mais ça marche bien, ça marche bien.
Today, the world is an island, and the sustainable tourism development of one region will, in the long run, share lights of sunshine to one and all.
Nous la casse et nos îles, nous la mer, nous les ciels, la nature qui entoure nous, reflète couleur nous les cœurs, ça même richesse qui nous vise à préserver, pour continuer à exister, ça même richesse nous vise à préserver, préserver.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that the rule of force is spreading globally as powerful actors undermine international law and human rights. Addressing the opening of UN Human Rights Council's annual session in Geneva, Guterres said human rights are under a full-scale attack around the world, highlighting growing challenges to global norms and accountability.
Human rights are under a full-scale attack around the world. The rule of law is being outmuscled by the rule of force. And this assault is not coming from the shadows or by surprise. It is happening in plain sight and often led by those who hold the greatest power. Around the world, human rights are being pushed back deliberately, strategically, and sometimes proudly.
The UN Human Rights Council's annual session in Geneva is a yearly gathering of member states and observers to review global human rights issues, debate country-specific situations, and adopt resolutions aimed at promoting accountability and protecting fundamental freedoms worldwide. Russian President Vladimir Putin attended a wreath-laying ceremony at the Kremlin and presented military awards on Russia's annual Defender of the Fatherland Day, a holiday marked by displays of military pomp. The observances come on the eve of the 4th anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian authorities reported at least 4 people were killed in the latest wave of Russian attacks, underscoring ongoing violence as the conflict enters its 4th year. The clashes highlight the continued intensity of Europe's largest war since World War II, with both sides sustaining casualties amid persistent military operations and rising international concern over the humanitarian toll. Tensions within the European Union over the support of Ukraine have intensified, with Hungary threatening to block a major sanctions package against Russia, as well as a large financial aid deal for Kiev.
North Korea's ruling Workers' Party has again chosen Kim Jong-un to be its general secretary, according to the state media. The announcement, which was made at a rubber stamp party congress in Pyongyang on Sunday, comes as little surprise given the Kim family has ruled by dictatorship since the late 1940s. State-run KCNA said that under Kim's leadership, North Korea radically improved its war deterrence, with the nuclear forces as its pivot. Despite long-standing international sanctions, North Korea has continued to build its nuclear capabilities, regularly testing banned intercontinental missiles. But the secrecy of the regime makes it harder to evaluate how much progress the military has made. Kim, who took control of the regime after his father's death in 2011, has invested heavily in the nuclear weapons program, turning Pyongyang into a far bigger challenge for the West and especially the US. Before it started, North Korea unveiled what it said was a range of nuclear-capable rocket launchers. The Congress has been held once every 5 years in the last decade. With some 5,000 party members in attendance, according to the KCNA, it offers a rare glimpse into the structure of political power in North Korea, which remains quite opaque to even the keenest watchers. The meetings are considered to be the most important political event and provide insight into where the country's priorities lie, from foreign policy to its nuclear ambitions.
Thousands of flights have been cancelled as a major snowstorm blanketed New York and other parts of northeast U.S., with weather forecasters warning of up to 60 centimeters of snow. The storm, which intensified into a bomb cyclone overnight, has grounded the region. New York City's Mayor Zohran Mamdani declared a state of emergency and ordered non-essential vehicles off city roads, saying emergency crews needed the streets clear as snowfall intensified.
In total, the storm is projected to drop between 18 and 24 inches across New York City, coming up to 28 inches in certain areas. New Yorkers should also expect dangerous winds. Later today, they are predicted to reach 35 miles per hour, with peak speeds of 40 miles per hour and 60 mile per hour isolated gusts occurring tomorrow morning around 8 a.m. These are blizzard conditions. New York City has not faced a storm of this scale in the last decade. As a result, We expect to see moderate coastal flooding of up to 2.5 feet during high tide, with a chance of it increasing to 3 feet along Staten Island, the Rockaways, and the Battery.
New York City is under its first blizzard warning since 2017. Winter storm warnings also strayed from North Carolina to northern Maine, with warnings also in place in parts of eastern Canada. Shah Alam, a Bangladeshi national who traveled to Pakistan nearly 3 decades ago for a brief visit, remains stranded in Karachi due to decades of strained diplomatic ties between the two countries and ongoing financial difficulties. The resumption of direct flights between Pakistan and Bangladesh last month has raised hopes among Alam and other long-term Bengali residents in Pakistan that they may finally return home. The decades-long absence of regular travel links, coupled with political tensions and economic constraints, has left many Bengalis in Pakistan separated from their families. Officials say the renewed air services could facilitate family reunifications and ease long-standing logistical and bureaucratic obstacles for those seeking to return to Bangladesh. Japan's Emperor Naruhito has greeted the general public on his 66th birthday at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. About 15,000 people were standing in line outside the palace grounds when the main gate opened on Monday. In the morning, the Emperor, Empress Masako, and their daughter, Princess Aiko, appeared on the palace balcony 3 times and waved at the well-wishers. They were joined in by the Crown Prince and Princess Akishino and their children, Princess Kako and Princess Hisahito. After expressing sympathy over the damage caused by heavy snow, the emperor said he feels spring is approaching. The emperor also said he hopes it will be a peaceful spring for all and wished everyone good health and happiness. For Monday's event, security had been beefed up. The measures included putting nets under fences and raising the number of security guards. Senegalese musician Sahat Sarr has spent the past decade developing a distinctive musical style that blends African American and other global influences while conveying a bold message about African identity. His works also challenge conventional expectations of African music. Sarr says the African musicians would have the freedom to innovate and express their own narratives rather than conforming to the international expectations or stereotypes about the continent's music. It is said Sarr's work reflects a growing movement among African artists to assert creative autonomy and redefine the continent's cultural output on the global stage, merging traditional rhythms with contemporary genres to create a sound that resists categorization.
Ankara Palace Museum has completed its second year as a museum, continuing to attract history and art enthusiasts from across the country and beyond. Opening its doors in February 2024, the museum has drawn significant attention with its rich and carefully curated collection, showcasing artifacts that span from the Ottoman era to the Republican period. The museum offers visitors a unique journey through time. Among the highlights are personal belongings used by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the founder of Turkey. More than just a historic building, Ankara Palace once served as one of the central hubs of Turkey's political and cultural life. It hosted Republican balls, diplomatic and international meetings, and historic gatherings. Today, the building continues to bridge the past and the present for future generations. Selected works from the collection of the National Palace's presidency are also on display, enriching the museum's exhibitions. Visitors explore rare pieces dating from the 16th to the 19th centuries, reflecting the artistic and cultural heritage of the Ottoman period. Many Chinese cities have launched nighttime programs and shows during this year's 9-day Spring Festival holiday, which runs through February 23, drawing significant crowds. The Spring Festival, or the Chinese New Year, which fell on February 17 this year, is the most important traditional holiday for the Chinese people. In Nanjing City, East China's Jiangsu province, Jingling Town, a cultural and tourism spot, has introduced special nighttime events featuring vibrant light displays, traditional dances, and intangible cultural heritage performances, creating a strong festive atmosphere that attracted many visitors. Known as the ancient capital of 6 dynasties, Nanjing has a rich history as the center of various dynasties and kingdoms. It served as the imperial seat of 6 southern dynasties that ruled southern China from the 3rd to 6th centuries and was the national capital of a unified China during the Ming Dynasty. In Jinghuangdao City, North China's Hebei province, a Chinese New Year lantern fair has captivated large crowds with dozens of themed light displays and traditional performances, including molten iron fireworks and fire pot performances. A spectacular display featuring 1,000 drones and sky lantern releases has added to the night's festivities. The series of events celebrating the Spring Festival will continue until the Lantern Festival on March 3.
Please welcome your host for this evening, Alan Cumming.
And welcome to the EE BAFTA Film Awards 2026.
And the BAFTA goes to One Battle After Another.
Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another continues its award season's streak by winning 6 awards, including the top prize at the BAFTAs. With Royals and even Paddington Bear present, the British Awards recognize homegrown talent across categories, including Robert Aramayo triumphing over established stars Timothée Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio to snag the Best Actor honor for his portrayal of a man with Tourette syndrome. In addition to its Best Movie win, Anderson's movie was recognized in categories such as Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, and Best Original Score, cementing its status as a critical favorite. It is said that the sweeping success underscores both Anderson's enduring influence in contemporary cinema and the film's resonance with audiences and critics alike. Paraíso Samba School took part in the final night of Rio de Janeiro's Sambodromo parades with a spectacular and politically charged celebration of the ancestry, resilience, and resistance of Black communities from Africa, Cuba, and Brazil. The performance featured elaborately decorated floats, intricate costumes, and high-energy choreography, combining traditional samba rhythms with powerful storytelling elements to highlight the historical success and struggles and cultural contributions of the African diaspora. Judges and spectators alike noted the school's emphasis on both artistic excellence and social messaging, a hallmark of Paraíso's recent carnival presentations. Organizers say the parade sought not only to entertain but also to educate audiences on the enduring legacy of slavery, colonialism, and systematic oppression, while celebrating the enduring cultural richness and creativity of Black communities. Thousands of attendees lined up to witness the school's performance, which culminated in a grand finale blending with music, dance, and visual spectacle.
it's very amazing feeling because as Mr. Kiran Manandar is one of, I would love to say he is a global artist because he do have his studio. He used to have his studio in Paris and different places as well. And we are really lucky to have his studio here in Kathmandu Art House as well. And we have his studio upstairs where he come and create the things like create the paintings. And with his paintings, we feel very inspired and energetic. His painting is mostly spiritual and energetic too, as he take his painting as the part of his life and also a spiritual value to his painting.
It's my first time in Nepal. I've been seeing cultural sites around the city, and I'm extremely pleased that I came to visit this museum because this art is really amazing, and it's really beautiful to see sort of this modern expression of some of the historical cultural themes, and also like just some very human global themes as well. And I think the artist is just really incredible, and the art that I'm seeing here is really beautiful, and I'm very, very pleased, very happy.
So how did you feel to meet the real artist here?
It was really incredible. I feel so lucky that I came here today when the artist was here. It was beautiful to meet him. He's so friendly and warm. Yeah. Learning about the space was also really interesting. I hadn't known the history of this location. I think it's a great place for an art museum.
Oh, they feel very nice looking at the artworks because since we have here Kathmandu Art House, when people come in, and when they see the different category of the artists and all, and especially Mr. Kiran Manandar's work, they feel very like overwhelmed. Not only the overwhelmed, but they feel very good about how Nepali art is like that, because they get, most of the time they get surprised, I must say that, because they haven't actually seen the artwork of Nepali artists in that deeper level. But since Mr. Kiran Manandar is famous all over the place. So yeah, he is also the pioneer of the abstract art here in Nepal. So he has actually, and he is also the first chancellor of NAFA, which has actually created like new, the step in the Nepali art field, in Nepali art society, and he has contributed a lot here. So while we talk with the guest as well, they get very inspired from his work with the colors, that the flow of colors, the brush strokes that he have, and also the spiritual value when we talk about the artist and also his painting to artists. They feel it's actually a true modern Nepali art where there is actually the touch of traditional spirituality and also a modern touch.
मेरो बुझाइअनुसार नेपालमा यहाँ आउनेहरू जति छ, जस्तो मलाई रङको प्रब्लम पर्यो भनेदेखि म सानोतिनो अब पहिला त थुडे ट्रेकिङ जान्थेँ, सानसाना खोल्सा हेर्थेँ त्यो रङहरूलाई ओरिजिनालिटी, त्यो रङहरूको हैन। अनि यो भत्केको पुरानो दरबारलाई हेर्थेँ, या घरहरू, यो बाँसहरू यिनीहरूलाई हेर्थेँ। अब जस्तो मैले तपाईँको त्यो बालाजुमा मैले धेरै सिकेँ। अनि यो रङ पनि अहिले पनि काया लागेको यस्तो त ओरिजिनल रङ पनि हाम्रो होइन। अब हामीलाई अब जस्तो म जापानमा गएर पहिला म्युजियममा काम गर्न जाँदाखेरि रातो माटो, कालो माटो यो लिएर जान्थेँ, किनभने त्यो भनेको त अहिलेको त नयाँ भयो नि त्यो पोटाई। अब अहिले पनि कहिलेकाहीँ म क्यानभासमा पोत्दाखेरि मेरो बधाई सम्झिन्छु। किनभने त्यो बेलामा रातो माटोले पोत्ने हैन त्यो एउटा हाम्रो पनि आफ्नै छ नि त्यसलाई चाहिँ नि एउटा इनर्जी आउने र फेरि यसमा त कुनै किरा फट्याङ्ग्रा पनि नलाग्ने अनि त्यसैले हाम्रो आफ्नोलाई चाहिँ नि प्रयोग गर्नलाई चाहिँ नि गाउँ घर ठाउँ जहाँ पनि जानुपर्छ जहाँ पनि लिनु पर्यो अहिले पनि म तपाईँलाई के भन्छु भनेदेखि बाला जो पास गरिसकेपछि नै गर्ने त्यसको हावापानी अरू आउँछ त्यो बात नै किनभनेदेखि त्यो बोटको आउँछ नि अनि त्यसैले हामी कहाँ पनि नभएको होइन यसलाई विकास गर्नलाई चाहिँ नि यस्तै म्युजियमहरू चाहियो यस्तै कलाकारहरूले चाहिँ सबैलाई समेट्ने कलाकार चाहियो अहिले धेरै राम्रो छ म त के भन्थेँ भनेदेखि अझ अहिलेको समय भनेको त तपाईँको विदेशी कलाकारहरू नेपालमा आएर सिक्न आउनुपर्छ अब कलाको यहाँ सुगन्ध छ अब हामी दरले चाहिँ नि हामीलाई मामाली पठाउँदैछ मेरो मामाली चाहिँ नि पश्चिमी नुवाकोट है अनि त्यो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ नि बाबु लाखाइ आएको थियो भन्थ्यो किन भनेपछि त यति माथि घुम्ने रे अनि रातो देखिने है अनि तिमी हामी जस्तै पोर्को रहेछ बलियो हुँदो रहेछ भन्थ्यो कि अनि त्यही भएर चाहिँ नि त्यो इमेजिनेसनले अब हुन त मैले कहिले भेटेको पनि थिएन सानो बेलामा त बाजा पनि बजाउँथेँ होइन तर त्यही इमेजिनेसनमा चाहिँ नि एउटा डरलाग्दो अनि फेरि चल्ने होइन हाम्रो अहिले नेवारीमा चलन छ कि कोही केटाहरू धेरै चलचल गरेर लाखे जस्तो रहेछ भन्छ कि अनि त्यही इमेजिनेसन
Kiran Manandar sir is a very fascinating person. I first met him in 2021. So in that time and till today, I kind of got a sense of his spiritual aspect a lot. Even though his artworks are abstract, you can identify each element. So in Kiran Manandar's paintings, even though it is an abstract art, each of us can identify ourselves. For example, in feminine beauty, we can identify a beautiful woman. In divine love, we can identify divine aspects of love. For example, Radha Krishna, Shiva Parvati, Vishnu and Lakshmi even. And in his spiritual series, for example, Shunya and Atma, we can identify the meditative aspect and the metaphysical aspect where we can achieve through divine interventions. And his artworks are mostly based on these spiritual factors also. And you can identify other materials. For example, he uses not only pen and ink, he uses materials like different clothes, which is written in Ranjana script. So there is Namo Tassa Bhagavato written in Ranjana script, and with that you can also see Kiran Manandar written in the same script. So that is basically his traditional route taking over in his abstract forms. And you can also identify the malas that you use in ritualistic activities, in pujas, and you can also see that aspects put together in the painting. And also the prayer flags of Buddha, the 5 Buddhas prayer flags. So all these materials are used by Kiran Manandar, and because of that we can say that he's a very spiritual person. And in his catalog, I have dissected and categorized these themes, thematical order in his painting. So I started with nature because he loves nature, and I remember him giving an example of a tree. So from afar we can only see a tree, but if you look closer and you can see the branches, the leaves, the fruits, the roots and everything. So his paintings are also layered like that, you know, the colors and bold strokes, like it's a palette knife that he uses, and that has a lot of strokes, lines. And even though it looks harsh when we look at it, but you can then deepen your thoughts and process, and you can see the color combinations and the beauty of the chaos that he creates in his paintings.
हामीले जति लोभ गर्यो त्यो चिजबाट सिर्जना कहिले पनि हुँदैन, हामीले त्याग्नै पर्छ। त्यसैले मलाई के लाग्छ भने हामी जन्मेको पनि त्यागेर जानलाई नै हो, हामी सधैँभरि बस्नलाई होइन। त्यसले अब जस्तो यही पेन्टिङमा तपाईँको यिनीहरू छ नि, यो कागजहरू जुन यो कपडाहरू ताछा छ, यो जसरी पहिला बलियो हुँदाखेरि त स्वयं माथिसम्म नै जान्थ्यो, अनि बाँदरले खसालेर तल फ्याँक्छ नि। सुरुमा मेरो धेरै पेन्टिङहरू त्यो उनीहरूको त्यो झन्डाहरू हुन्छ नि, यिनीहरूकोमा धेरै बनाएको छु, किनभने त्यहाँ फ्याँकिरह घरमा ल्याउँछु, म त्यसलाई सफा गर्छु, अनि त्यसलाई चाहिँ नि पूर्ण रूप दिएर चाहिँ नि अनि कहाँ राख्ने त? म क्यानभासलाई के भन्छु भने यो मेरो ब्याङ्क हो, अनि त्यसमै राख्ने होइन। अब त्यही तलको त कसैले उठाएर लैजाँदैन, अब यहीँ राखेपछि त्यही मान्छेलाई चाहिँ नि लोभ लाग्यो, अनि त्यो मान्छेले उठाएर लैजान्छ होइन, किन्छ भनेको नि। त्यसैले कस्तो हुन्छ भने हरेक चिजहरू त्याग्ने नै हो। पेन्टिङ गर्दाखेरि पनि रङ लगाउँदाखेरि पनि यो कोही कोही हुन्छ कि यो धेरै परे होइन, त्याग्ने हो, के लिएर जाने होइन। त्यसैले चाहिँ नि सबैभन्दा ठुलो चाहिँ नि चित्रकला गर्नुहोस् या कुनै पनि काम गर्नुहोस्, सबैभन्दा आफ्नो मनभित्र शुद्ध राखेर चाहिँ त्यागेर जाने हो, कुनै चिज लिएर जाने होइन।
चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ काम भनेको चाहिँ किरण दाई जस्तै चाहिँ आर्टिस्टहरूको चाहिँ नि एउटा चाहिँ नि एक्जिबिसन्सहरू गराएर चाहिँ नि नेपालीलाई चाहिँ देखाउने त छँदैछ, तर चाहिँ संसारलाई पनि हैन। किनभने चाहिँ हाम्रो जस्तो चाहिँ नि नेपाली जस्तो आर्टिस्टहरू चाहिँ नि संसारमा पनि छन्, तर हामी चाहिँ नि कुनै देशभन्दा पनि चाहिँ हामी चाहिँ नि एटलिस्ट आर्टको फिल्डमा चाहिँ कम छैन। त्यो एउटा चाहिँ नि हामीले चाहिँ नेपालीहरूले चाहिँ एउटा प्राइडको हिसाबले ठोकेर भन्न सक्छौँ। मेन रिजन वाइ आई ओपन द म्युजियम अफ नेपाली आर्ट, which is Mona in short form, is to platform living Nepali artists. That this is actually the first private museum in Nepal. And even after 1,000 years, but as long as there is humanity, as long as there is Nepal, as long as there is Nepal and art, we will be part of Kirandai. We need to ask questions. We need to ask questions to ourselves, not to anybody else. And that is the main purpose of art. And that is what I am trying to bring it out through my museum, through my passion, to the people, so that we can better understand ourselves, we can better appreciate our community, we can better appreciate our nation, and we can better appreciate the world that we live in.
Pashupatinath is located in the eastern part of Kantipur city, approximately 5 kilometers away from Bagmati River. During the Lichavi period, the area surrounding Pashupatinath was known for animal rearing. This region includes Duasthali, Guveshwari, Gaurighat, Chaba Hill, Ganeshthan, and Kotuwali. all of which are part of the Pashupatinath area. In 1979 AD, UNESCO designated Pashupatinath as a World Heritage Site. The blessings of Pashupatinath have been revered since ancient times, indicating the site's significance long before the Lichavi dynasty. The presence of Jyotirlinga, a sacred representation of Lord Shiva, is mentioned in one of the ancient texts, highlighting its historical and religious importance. In the Gopal Raj dynasty, King Supuspadev described Pashupatinath as Varna Vyavastha. Following Supuspadev, every subsequent king incorporated the name of Pashupatinath within their own names. King Vaskar Dev offered 3 kosh to Pashupatinath, Brishdev presented a Trishul, Dharmadev contributed a Brishjos, and Narendra Dev offered various kosh made from different materials. Finally, Jayadev offered a lotus to Pashupatinath. In 1473 BS, Jyoti Malla renovated Pashupatinath. The priest Nityananda initiated the removal of the 3-story structure of Pashupatinath and reduced it to a single story. Queen Ganga, the consort of Shiva Singh, had the Bhasa Bamsawali written, which is still present today. During the Malla dynasty, the offerings made by the kings to Pashupatinath can still be seen today. Among these offerings, Lord Shiva at Pashupatinath received a copper roof and chadi and kamal. Finally, King Jai Singh presented a gold-made mekhla and a grand jatra was conducted. The temple's extraordinary design is attributed to the cumulative contributions of successive kings, each leaving their mark by adding distinctive elements to its architecture. This rich history of royal patronage is a primary factor contributing to the exceptional and intricate design of this revered temple.
Nepal is a country well known for the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, and the birthplace of Lord Buddha, the pioneer of peace. This is a country equally graced by the beauty of natural scenery and cultural riches. Unity in diversity, immense tolerance, and confluence of coexistence, Nepal is a country of its own uniqueness. Lord Buddha, the pioneer of non-violence, tolerance, and peace, was born on the full moon day in Lumbini in 623 BC. Peace, compassion, mercy, tolerance, and salvation are the perennial paths of Buddhism that lead or have been leading mankind to complete freedom and welfare of all humankind. Lord Buddha taught the world to engage more on spiritual contemplation following those paths. Buddhism has indeed become a new way to most sought peace and prosperity. Thus, Lumbini has been growing into a sacred destination not only for Buddhists but also for peace lovers and spiritual practitioners. The life story and its supporting remnants related to the childhood life of Prince Siddhartha Gautam can still be seen and heard in Kapilvastu. The sacred historical bits and pieces attached to King Suddhodana, the father of Lord Buddha, which are of archaeological significance, will speak of Kapilvastu as an open museum. The remnant of eastern gate of the compound of King Suddhodana's palace was the main gate to the premises. You can witness here the entrance gates in all four directions, and indeed countless remains lying on your left and right, and back and front, bearing historical significance. In ancient time, the area was even known as Kapilvastu as today it is, but later the place was also called Tilarakot. According to Buddhist books and literature, Devdaha in Rupanderi district was homeland of Lord Buddha's maternal uncle and father-in-law as well. The bricks used to build homes are still lying plenty scattered there, and to your wonder, some bricks even weigh 12 kilograms. There is another place called Kudan, which is within the district headquarters of Taulihawa. And legend has that here, King Suddhodana encountered his son Siddhartha for the first time after the latter was enlightened to Buddha. This place was also called Nigrodhara, which is now surrounded by the remnants of stupas. Similarly, this was the very place where Buddha's stepmother, Gautami Prajapati, handed monk's dress over to Lord Buddha. Likewise, Ramgram in Nawalparasi district is the place where a stupa of Lord Buddha's cool bone was built after his parinirvana demise. Excavation is still undergoing in this place. Kapilvastu, Lumbini, Ramgram and Devdaha are therefore indelible places highly attached to the life of Lord Buddha. Kapilvastu was the kingdom of Sakya, Lord Buddha's clan, whereas Ramgram and Devdaha were of Koliyas. And the two states were bordered by Rohini River, some 27 kilometers east. To Kapilvastu was Lumbini, which was at that time densely cocooned by sal and ashok trees. and was popularly known as Sacred Garden. Buddhist tales say once when Buddha's mother Mayadevi was journeying to her parental home, Mayadevi, she experienced delivery symptoms. Gripping a branch of a tree, she gave birth to Prince Siddhartha. According to some old Buddhist literature, the birth of Prince Siddhartha bore several symptoms and well indicated that the newborn baby was not a common birth, but a birth of a dignified, spiritual, and an incarnate. Legend has that the newborn baby walked 7 steps far immediately after it was off mother's womb. Moreover, the new baby uttered the following revelations: I would be the first among the mortals to go beyond passing through this worldly web. This is my last birth. Rebirth never happens with me again. Prince Siddhartha lived an affluent life of 29 years at Kapilvastu Palace. But when he tried to penetrate and see close to the eternal truth of life, then he started contemplating on life. Why does a man become old? Why does he suffer from different diseases? Why does he die? These were the pertinent questions that haunted him most. Driven by divine spirit to find ultimate truth, he decided to renounce royal life. One night, he left his family, friends, and palace to seek salvation and eternal truth. Roaming several days, he reached Bodh Gaya of India, and there under a peepal tree, he had gone for meditation and became Buddha. He gave his first religious preaching in Sarnath in Varanasi, India. He talked about eternal truth, human duty, peace, and the path of salvation there, and earned a number of followers. Buddha underwent parinirvana, death, at the age of 80 in Kushinagar. Addressing his followers just before his parinirvana, Lord Buddha said, "My devotees will visit and throng around the places where I took birth, where I was enlightened, where I first delivered my preaching, and where I got parinirvana." So, Lumbini, saturated by Lord Buddha's peace-loaded messages for over ages, has been the most sacred religious sites for many, if not only for Buddhists. Today, the Buddhists and the followers of Buddhism and peace lovers of the world over visit Lumbini to pay homage to Lord Buddha and feel and get familiar to his brainchild, peace. King Ashoka, a staunch supporter of Buddha, visited Lumbini in 249 BC and built a pillar quite near to Buddha's nativity site. The Ashoka pillar bears an inscription that says, "Buddha was born here." not only an attractive tourism hub today, but it's also a live state of historical and archaeological significance. To preserve Lumbini, the government of Nepal and Japan Buddhist Association have jointly launched the excavation since 1992. Lumbini had undergone negligence of both government and non-government entities for centuries. Planned and coordinated effort began only in 1953. The United Nations appointed famous Japanese professor and engineer Kenjo Tange to make a master plan for the development of Lumbini. Government of Nepal accepted the proposed master plan in 1978. To develop Lumbini according to the master plan, Government of Nepal established Lumbini Development Fund in 1985. According to the master plan, Lumbini Development Region has been divided into 3 zones. At the meantime, several phases of development have also been adopted. In first zone comes Sacred Garden. Second, Zone of Stupas. And in third comes New Lumbini Village. It is expected that the Sacred Garden will create a kind of aura, ensuring peaceful ambience, natural serenity, and religious sacredness to its visitors, in which they can feel deep Lord Buddha's message of peace and compassion. The very core of Lumbini Garden is the nativity site of Buddha. The plain bas relief of Maya Devi, which is supposed to be about 17 to 1800 years old and depicts the nativity scene, has been put in the newly renovated temple. Near the temple lies Sakya Kund, sacred pond, where Maya Devi was supposed to have taken bath before giving birth to Buddha. Zone of Stupas is another important feature of Lumbini Master Plan, within which territory countries, international associations, and devotees of world over can build stupas of their own in dedication to Lord Buddha. Moreover, the zone of stupas has been divided into 2. In the western part, the followers of Mahayana sect are building their stupas, whereas eastern part is dominated by Theravada sect. This zone of stupas has 41 geographic subdivisions in which various countries, organizations, and devotees have been building chortains, monasteries and stupas respectively. With a view to carry study and research on Buddhism and its inherent philosophy, a cultural studies center has been set up in Lumbini. The study center has museum, library and archives in which you can find Buddhism-related books, literature, arts and other valuable materials. Similarly, Lumbini International Research Center has been set up, which provides materials and other needed support to researchers of other religion, philosophy and culture. There is also a library for those who want to study about peace and religion. Another major attraction of Lumbini is its eternal flame, which is placed in Shanti Kunj Peace Arbor. The flame was ignited on the occasion of the International Peace Year in 1985. The flame can be considered as bold symbol to keep Lord Buddha's peace messages alive. Lumbini village is the exterior part of Lumbini master plan, where various facilities of lodging and fooding for the visitors are catered in depending on their capacities. There are a number of cheap and affordable rest houses to moderate ones and luxury hotels laced by all modern amenities. A peace stupa has been built in the northern side of Lumbini. It is the tallest stupa in the area. The story of the greatness of Lord Buddha's birthplace, Lumbini, is not an imagined story of a next world. Lumbini, in fact, is the most sacred place which can emanate peace, friendship, kindness, compassion, and feeling of coexistence to all people of all ages. This is a destination to inward peace, a holy place for enlightenment. Indeed, the sacredness of Lumbini existed in the past too. It is today too, and it will be tomorrow too.
Curfew lifted in Birganj as prohibitory order remains for the night. Gaur Rotahat calms after days of tension. Nepal's election body tells parties to keep children out of elections. Spokesperson warns against involving minors in publicity campaigns. Bus accident in Dhading kills 19. Government forms a task force to probe the Prithvi highway tragedy. Ethanol petrol policy gains momentum in Nepal. Officials push ahead with 10% blending despite production challenges. Iran's foreign minister warns his country would be forced to strike back at U.S. interests in the Middle East in response to any renewed attack. And Nepal's star footballer seeks support for surgery. National captain's plea raises questions on player welfare in the country. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai and this is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. The curfew in Birganj, Parsa district, southern Nepal has been lifted following recent tensions over a local dispute. However, the authorities have announced a prohibitory order from 6 p.m. today to 8 a.m. tomorrow. During this time, gatherings, rallies and crowded events remain prohibited. The curfew was initially imposed after a conflict over vehicle parking escalated, prompting schools to send students home safely. Earlier, all-party meeting reached a 3-point agreement, conduct a fair investigation into the incident in Sripur Ward number 11, Birganj, hold those responsible accountable, take action against misinformation and hate speech on social media, and ensure religious and social harmony with political and community leaders participating. Meanwhile, in Gaur Rohtahat district, southeastern Nepal, the curfew imposed after a procession near a mosque has also been lifted as tensions ease. A peace rally in Subgada Gaur 6 brought together Hindu and Muslim leaders, local officials, political representatives and citizens to promote restraint and social harmony. The Election Commission of Nepal has called on all political parties and candidates contesting the 2082 House of Representatives elections to avoid involving children in campaign activities. In a statement, the Commission's spokesperson Naren Prasad Bhandari warned against using children to carry flags or election symbols, participate in rallies or culture programs, or wear campaign materials such as T-shirts or vests featuring parties' logos. The Commission also highlighted concerns over events near schools during class hours, which disrupt students' education. Under Nepal's Election Code of Conduct, children must not be used in election campaigns, public meetings or processions. The Election Commission stressed that complaints of violations have already been received and urged strict adherence to protect children from political exploitation. A passenger bus travelling from Pokhara to Kathmandu crashed last night in Benighat, Rorang municipality, Bhaisi-Gauda, Thading, along the Prithvi Highway. The accident claimed the lives of at least 19 people and left 25 others injured. The Home Ministry has formed a 5-member task force led by a Joint Secretary to investigate the incident and submit a detailed report. So far, 13 of the deceased have been identified, including one British national. 22 injured passengers are receiving treatment in Kathmandu hospitals. Miraculously, Krishna Raj Manandar, trapped inside the bus wreckage at Charodi, was rescued alive after 5 hours when rescue teams carefully cut through the remains. Nepal is preparing to introduce ethanol-blended fuel after a recent directive from the Government of Nepal Cabinet to mix ethanol with petrol as part of a gradual energy transition. The move aims to reduce the country's heavy dependence on imported petroleum supplied through Nepal Oil Corporation, while also supporting domestic biofuel production. Ethanol, a renewable fuel typically produced from agricultural sources such as molasses or cassava, can help lower certain harmful emissions compared with conventional petrol. Officials say implementation had been delayed for years due to limited domestic production capacity and the need for higher purity ethanol required for fuel blending. More on this in our issue of the day later today. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has warned that his country would be forced to strike back at the U.S. interests in the Middle East in response to any renewed attack. In an interview with CBS, Abbas Araghchi said any U.S. military strike would constitute an act of aggression and that Tehran would respond in self-defense, warning Washington that Iran would exercise what it called its legitimate right to retaliate.
Well, I think as a sovereign country, we have every right to decide for ourselves, by ourselves. We have developed this technology by ourselves, by our scientists, and it's very dear to us because we have paid a lot. We have paid a huge expense for that. We have been under sanctions for at least 20 years, and we have lost our scientists, and we have had a war because of that. So that is now a matter of dignity and pride for Iranians, and we are not going to give it up. There is no legal reason to do that. While everything is peaceful, while everything is safeguarded by the agency, while we...
Nepal's women's football captain Sabitra Bhandari has issued a public plea for support as she battles a serious knee injury. Bhandari, known as Samba, says she needs complex surgery and rehabilitation. She is currently in New Zealand seeking to travel to Qatar for treatment. She says the cost is around $80,000 and that the financial support available to her is not enough. Bhandari is Nepal's all-time leading goal scorer and the first Nepali woman to play professional football in Europe. She returned strongly after a similar surgery in Qatar in 2021. Meanwhile, the All Nepal Football Association has rejected claims of inaction. In a statement, NTV said it has taken steps to support her treatment, including coordination with her club and Qatar's Aspetar Hospital. NTV says it remains committed to supporting the national captain. Her appeal has drawn nationwide attention and raised broader questions about player welfare and protection in Nepal's sport. With emergency resources stretched thin across Nepal's highways, today's fatal crash on the Prithvi Highway serves as a grim reminder of the lives lost to delayed intervention. Experts warn that until the gap in immediate rescue services is closed, preventable tragedies will continue to define the nation's roads. Our cover story after this break. You're watching NTV World and this is News Hour. Welcome back. A lack of emergency rescue resources on Nepal's highways continues to cost lives, with many accident victims unable to be saved immediately. Rescue workers say timely intervention could have prevented fatalities in today's bus crash on the Prithvi Highway, reflecting a pattern of mishaps where losses could have been minimized. Siksha Bhattarai, along with our local correspondent Shiva Silwal, brings more.
हजुर हेर्नु न यहाँनिर एकान्त ठाउँ पनि पर्यो हैन घरहरु नभएको कारणले गाडी अब खोलामा झरेछन् पारीको मान्छेहरुले देख्दाखेरि यहाँनिर छरिपट्ट मान्छेहरु कोही खोलामा एकजना विदेशी खोलामा डुबिरहेका रहेछन् र अरु चाहिँ पाखामा रहेछन् अब तत्कालै आउने बित्तिकै हामीसँग स्रोत साधन केही पनि भएन बाटो पनि अब भिर तपाईको धेरै माथिबाट तल लगभग 50-60 मिटर जति होला हैन 100 मिटर लगभग के होला हामीले अब आउँदाखेरि मान्छे छरिपर्छ थियो स्थानीय मान्छेहरु आइपुग्यौ हामीले डुङ्गाहरु लिएर आउँ र अनि
Shortage of proper rescue equipment along Nepal's major highways has once again raised serious concerns about emergency response capacity following a deadly bus crash on the Prithvi Highway on Sunday night. The accident occurred near Charaudi Bazar in Dhading in Benighat rural municipality when a passenger bus carrying 43 people from Pokhara to Kathmandu veered off the road and plunged nearly 100 meters down to the banks of the Trishuli River. At least 19 passengers were killed and 24 others sustained injuries. The exact cause of the accident remains under investigation. Local residents and first responders said rescue efforts were hampered by the lack of essential emergency equipment.
गरिकन चाहिँ यो अध्यारो भयो अब खोजमा परेको हुनाले हो अलि अध्यारो भएको हुनाले चाहिँ हामीले तत्काल रेस्क्यु गर्न केही अप्ठ्यारो भयो.
Darkness and the steep riverbank terrain made access to the wreckage extremely difficult, while the absence of hydraulic cutters, cranes, stretchers, and other specialized tools forced rescuers to rely largely on manual efforts to extract survivors. Emergency personnel also expressed concern over limited training in the safe handling and transport of trauma patients, warning that improper evacuation procedures can aggravate injuries and increase the risk of death. Authorities and rescue workers are calling on the government to establish a modern, well-equipped and coordinated highway emergency response system along the high-risk corridors. Without urgent investment in preparedness and rapid response mechanisms, they warn similar tragedies could continue to claim lives that might otherwise be saved.
That was our cover story of the day. Now, Nepal is taking a decisive step toward energy independence with the new government directive to implement nationwide ethanol-blended fuel. While the policy aims to slash import reliance and emissions, significant hurdles in production capacity and technical infrastructure remain to be cleared before the plan can truly take off. We'll look at in depth in our issue of the day. That's after this short break. Welcome back to News Hour here on NTV World. Time now for the issue of the day. Nepal is moving closer to introducing ethanol-blended fuel. This follows a recent directive from the Government of Nepal Cabinet to gradually mix ethanol with petrol nationwide. Officials say the policy could help reduce the country's heavy dependence on imported fuel supplied through Nepal Oil Corporation and also lowering some harmful emissions. But after years of delay, the key question now is whether Nepal has the production capacity and the infrastructure to make the plan work. Smithu Kising Tamang explores more.
Nepal is taking a major step that could reshape how the country powers its vehicles and potentially reduce both fuel imports and air pollution. The government on January 5 issued a directive instructing authorities to move ahead with introducing ethanol-blended petrol. The plan is to gradually mix up to 10% ethanol into fuel used across the country. Nepal currently imports nearly all of its petroleum through the state-owned Nepal Oil Corporation, making fuel one of the country's largest import expenses. Officials say producing ethanol domestically could help reduce that dependence while also supporting local agriculture and industry. Environmentally, ethanol-blended fuel is considered cleaner than conventional petrol.
यसको बेनिफिट भनेको चाहिँ यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले रिन्युएबल एनर्जीको रूपमा पनि लिन सकिन्छ यसमा फसल फ्युल युज हुँदैन यो चाहिँ प्लान्टबाट बन्ने भएको कारणले चाहिँ यसलाई रिन्युएबल एनर्जीको रूपमा लिन सकिन्छ अर्को भनेको चाहिँ यो चाहिँ प्लान्टले चाहिँ कार्बन डाइअक्साइड कन्ज्युम गरे हुन्छ नि त यसमा सल्फर अरू कन्टेन्ट हुँदैन र यो बर्न हुँदाखेरि पनि धेरै चाहिँ इन्भाइरोमेन्टमा चाहिँ अरू डिफ्रेन्ट काइन्ड अफ एमिसन ग्रीन हाउस एमिसनहरू हुँदैन अनि अर्को भनेको चाहिँ इथानलमा चाहिँ अक्सिजन कन्टेन्ट धेरै भएको भएर चाहिँ यसले फ्युल बर्निङमा पनि हेल्प गर्छ
Although the policy is being implemented now, discussions about ethanol blending in Nepal have been ongoing for nearly 2 decades. One of the key challenges has been production capacity. Ethanol currently produced in Nepal, mainly from molasses, reaches around 95% purity, but fuel blending requires about 99.5% purity, meaning additional refining capacity is needed. Authorities are also exploring new raw materials, including cassava, locally known as simultarul, which can be cultivated and harvested more than months yet. Officials say nationwide coordination is essential before the rollout begins, especially as Nepal consumes an estimated 60 to 65,000 kiloliters of petroleum products every day.
पहिला जुन बेलामा राजपत्रमा निकालियो हामीले चाहिँ नि 2060 साल माघ 1 गतेदेखि 10% चाहिने अनिवार्य भनेर भनियो त्यतिखेर हामीले कस्तो गरेछौं भने हामीसँग कुनै पूर्वाधार थिएन हामीसँग इथानोल उत्पादन गर्ने पनि थिएन उत्पादन गर्ने उत्पादकहरू पनि देखिनु पनि भएको थिएन त्यो भावनाले चाहिँ त्यतिखेर हतार भएछ तर अहिले पछिल्लो समय चाहिँ के भने हामी अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय स्तरमा पनि हरेक मुलुकहरूले चाहिँ यसलाई सुरुवात गरेको भावनाले उत्पादन गर्ने जुन उत्पादन गर्ने व्यक्तिहरू हुन्छन् उद्योगीहरू उहाँहरू आउनु भएको परिप्रेक्ष्यमा चाहिँ अहिले यो गर्नै पर्ने रहेछ किनभने अब सबैतिर भइसक्यो एउटा कुरो दोस्रो कुरो चाहिँ नेपालले सन् 2045 सम्ममा चाहिँ जिरो कार्बन इमिसन भनेर भन्ने जुन लक्ष्य राखेको छ त्यसलाई मिट गर्नलाई पनि हामीले केही इन्भाइरोन्मेन्टल पल्युसनहरू चाहिँ घटाउनु पर्ने स्थिति छ ती दुईटा कुराले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब अहिले यो विषय चाहिँ
If implemented successfully, ethanol blending could mark an important shift towards cleaner fuel and reduced reliance on imported energy. But the question is, can Nepal build the production, infrastructure, and coordination needed to make this long-discussed policy a reality? With Rasila Shrestha on camera, Smitu Gising Tamang reporting for NTV World.
In response to concerns over the long-awaited plan to mix petrol with 10% ethanol, which promises economic and environmental benefits, Deputy Director and spokesperson at Nepal Oil Corporation, Manoj Kumar Thakur, highlighted technical challenges and investment hurdles as the main reasons for the delay. Thakur said the authorities are working to overcome these issues before full implementation.
95% pure मात्रै इथानोल चाहिँ चिनी उद्योगहरुमा चाहिँ प्रोडक्सन भइरहेको छ र हामीलाई चाहिने भनेको पेट्रोलियम पदार्थ मिसाउने भनेको चाहिँ 99.5% भन्दा माथिको प्युरिटी जुनलाई चाहिँ एनहाइड्रस इथानोल हामीले भन्छौं त्यो चीज चाहिँ हामीले प्राप्त गरेको खण्डमा चाहिँ निगमले मिसाएर चाहिँ उपभोक्तामा पुर्याउन सक्छ हामीलाई त आज मिसाउने भोलि नमिसाउने भन्ने त हुँदैन हामीले मिसाउन सुरु गरिसकेपछि चाहिँ हामीलाई कम से कम वर्ष दिनलाई पुग्ने चाहिँ स्टकको सेक्युरिटी चाहिँ हामीलाई हुनु पर्यो सँगसँगै त्यो उद्योगले चाहिँ कुन गुणस्तरमा उत्पादन गर्ने त त्यो गुणस्तरको मापदण्ड पनि बन्न जरुरी छ उद्योगले बनाएको कुन मापदण्डमा उले इथानोल बनाउने र त्यही मापदण्डमा चाहिँ निगमले त्यो सर्टिफिकेट हुन्छ सर्टिफिकेट प्रमाणित भइसकेपछि त्यसको आधारमा चाहिँ जुन समिति छ समितिले मूल्य तोकिसकेपछि त्यो मूल्यमा चाहिँ निगमले खरिद गर्ने र हामीले खरिद गरिसकेपश्चात चाहिँ हाम्रो विक्रेता मार्फत चाहिँ हामी उपभोक्तामा चाहिँ पुर्याउँछौं
Nepal is gearing up to introduce ethanol-blended petrol, up to 10% mix under the newly approved Ethanol Blending in Petrol Order 2082. The move aims to cut fuel imports, support local farmers and reduce emissions, but challenges like supply gaps and the need for purer ethanol could test the country's readiness. Diksha Awasthi explains more.
Nepal is preparing to introduce ethanol-blended petrol. But what does that actually mean? And is Nepal ready? Ethanol blending simply means mixing petrol with ethanol, a type of alcohol-based fuel made from plants. Ethanol is produced from crops like sugarcane, maize, cassava, and even from decayed food products. When petrol contains 10% ethanol and 90% petrol, it's called E10. If it contains 20% ethanol, it's called E20. For now, Nepal plans to go up to E10. The cabinet has approved the Ethanol Blending in Petrol Order 2082. The government plans to start slowly from 2%, then 4%, then 6%, and eventually 10% ethanol in petrol. Why is this important? Nepal spends a huge amount of money importing petrol. By blending ethanol, the government hopes to save more than 6 billion rupees every year. Blending fuel could also reduce petrol imports by about 73 million liters annually. But there are challenges. To mix with petrol, ethanol must be very pure, at least 99.5%. This is called anhydrous ethanol. Right now, most ethanol produced in Nepal is about 95% pure. That's not enough for fuel blending. There's also a supply gap. To fully implement E10, Nepal would need around 200,000 kiloliters of ethanol per day. But current production is only about 60 to 65,000 kiloliters per day. Still, the benefits could be significant. Ethanol blending can reduce carbon monoxide emissions by up to 37% and emit oxygen. It supports local farmers and sugar mills. And it reduces Nepal's dependence on imported fossil fuels. Vehicles may notice a slight drop in mileage. The policy is approved. Now comes the real challenge: implementation. Whether Nepal can bridge the supply gap and upgrade infrastructure will decide if ethanol blending becomes a successful energy reform or remains only a plan.
That was our issue of the day. Moving on to more news, the Election Commission of Nepal is running an intensive nationwide voter education program to boost participation and reduce invalid ballots in the upcoming elections. While some districts report that voter education has yet to reach its full potential, the campaign is now in full swing and will continue until 1st of March. In Teirathum, eastern Nepal, local residents are being actively engaged in voter awareness sessions. In Kailali, in the far western region, the campaign has been intensified to inform citizens about the importance of voting, the voting process, and how to correctly mark ballots, with trained volunteers deployed across every ward. In Palpa, where previous elections recorded high numbers of invalid votes, volunteers are visiting homes across all 81 wards, educating citizens on proper voting procedures. The Election Commission stresses that this nationwide effort aims to empower voters, increase electoral participation, and minimize spoiled ballots, ensuring citizens are well informed before casting their votes. To gauge the effectiveness of Nepal's nationwide voter education program, we asked local residents in Kailali and Palpa how they liked the voter education program in our Public Pulse segment. Let's have a look.
जुन मतदाताहरूले मतपत्र प्रयोग गर्छन् अब त्यो मतपत्र कसरी खसाल्ने के गर्ने कसरी आफू मात्र नभएर म आफू व्यक्तिगत रूपमा भन्नु पर्दा त म अर्कालाई सिकाउने मान्छे परे त्यति मात्र नभएर परिवार आफ्नो समुदाय आफ्नो टोलमा समेत मतदाता शिक्षा के हो कसरी भोट प्रयोग गर्ने कसको आफ्नो हक र अधिकारलाई कसरी सुनिश्चित गर्ने त्यस सम्बन्धी म र मेरो टोल ढुक्क छ भन्ने म आफू विश्वस्त छु।
आगामी फागुन 21 गते हुन गइरहेको निर्वाचनको लागि हामीले निर्वाचन कार्यालयबाट मतदाता शिक्षा प्राप्त गर्यौं र अन्य अरु सबै वर्गको वृद्ध वृद्धादेखि दाजुभाइ दिदीबहिनी गाउँहरूको सबैजनालाई हामीले मतदाता शिक्षा सिकाइरहेका छौं र हामीले हाम्रो मत बदल नहुने गरी सुनिश्चित हुने गरी हामी हाम्रो सक्षम उम्मेदवारलाई जिताउनको लागि परिरहेका छौं।
टोल टोलमा दिएको मतदान शिक्षाले मैले मतदान गर्न सिकिसके मैले मतदान बदर नगरिकिनै मतदान गर्न सिकिसके र अरूलाई पनि सिकाउने प्रयास गर्नेछु।
निर्वाचन सम्बन्धी शिक्षा दिनुभयो अब नबिगारिकन हामीले भोट हाल्छौं।
अवेयरनेस कार्यक्रम अत्यन्तै राम्रो पक्ष नै हो। यसमा लगानी अब निर्वाचनकै माहौल केन्द्रित गरेर गर्न भन्दा पनि स्थायी रूपले अन्य जनचेतना जसरी चाहिँ प्रोग्राम राज्यले दिन्छ त्यही तरिकाले निर्वाचन यो मतदाता परिचय पत्रहरू भराउने क्रममा पनि त्यो अवेयरनेसलाई कन्टिन्यू रूपमा स्थायी रूपमा चाहिँ लग्यो भने
The Lumbini provincial government has granted principal approval for drafting 2 significant bills focused on Thadu communities' customary systems and on the stray cattle management. According to officials, the cabinet moved to institutionalize Thadu traditions to ensure their legal recognition and generational transfer. This legislative step for the Thadu community follows long-standing local demands and is expected to positively impact their social and economic rights. Likewise, the government is addressing the stray cattle crisis in the province, where over 12,000 abandoned animals have been identified. While current 39 cow shelters across the various districts of the province manage nearly 9,000 cattle, despite data showing capacity for over 11,000. The proposed act aims to clarify roles between provincial and local levels, to improve animal health services, while reducing road accidents and crop damage. Post-earthquake heritage reconstruction has ignited a revival for Dolakha's stone-cutting industry, turning a once struggling craft into a lucrative alternative to foreign labor. Driven by the demand for authentic restoration of cultural monuments like temples and taps, local entrepreneurs are now seeing good profits and providing high-paying jobs to youths right at home. Vicheta Bhandari with our local correspondent Mandira Thapa brings this to the fore.
The reconstruction of ancient temples and heritage sites following the 2015 earthquake has sparked a major revival for the traditional stone-cutting industry in Dolakha of northeastern Nepal. A prime example is a new temple currently under construction in Sailung rural municipality at a cost of approximately 20 million rupees, which relies entirely on these artistically carved river stones to maintain its traditional aesthetic. This surge in demand for heritage restoration has turned what was once a struggling venture into a highly profitable business for local entrepreneur like Ramkrishna Basnet. After abandoning plans to move abroad, Basnet established the Kalanchok stone-cutting industry in Bhimeshwar municipality in Dolakha. Basnet's journey, initially marked by significant financial losses for the first 4 years, finally shifted in his favor. Today, his business struggles to keep up with the massive market orders, leading him to open a second branch.
2-3 वर्ष भयो हामीले यहाँ लोकल काममा धारा मठ मन्दिर बाटोको चौताराहरुमा हाल्दैपछि अलि प्रचार गरि भयो अनि सबैले राम्रो रहेछ देखिने गर्छ लङ लास्टिङ हुन्छ हैन त्यसकै मार्केट चाहिन्छ ढुङ्गाको मार्ग हाम्रो अल नेपाल छ ढुङ्गानी सहज हुने ठाउँमा लैजान्छ के हामीले.
His industry now provides a stable employment to 14 young men who have opted to stay in their home country rather than seeking labor work overseas. These local youths report that they can earn up to 200,000 rupees a month, wages that rival or even exceed what they might have made in foreign countries. While concrete buildings are becoming more common in rural villages, the demand for high-quality cut stone is rising rapidly for local taps and religious monuments and temples.
International news coming up next, but before that, let's have a recap of the headlines. Curfew lifted in Birganj as prohibitory order remains for the night. Gold Rohtahat calves after days of tension. Nepal's election body tells parties to keep children out of elections. Spokesperson warns against involving minors in publicity campaigns. Bus accident kills 19 in Dhading. Government forms a task force to probe the Prithvi highway tragedy. Ethanol petrol policy gains momentum in Nepal. Officials push ahead with 10% blending despite production challenges. Iran's foreign minister warns his country would be forced to strike back at U.S. interest in the Middle East in response to any renewed attack. And Nepal's star footballer Samba seeks support for surgery. National captain's plea raises questions on player welfare in the country. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has said developing Russia's nuclear forces is an absolute priority. This is in remarks released on Sunday, weeks after the expiry of the last remaining nuclear arms control treaty between Moscow and Washington. Putin delivered such comments on Defender of the Fatherland Day, a state holiday observed on 23rd of February and traditionally marked by military ceremonies and displays of patriotism as tensions with the U.S. remain elevated.
Безусловным приоритетом остается развитие ядерной триады, которая служит гарантией безопасности России, позволяет эффективно обеспечивать стратегическое сдерживание и баланс сил в мире.
Putin's comments come ahead on the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Moving on, foreign ministers of the European Union gathered in Brussels today for talks focused on sustaining military and financial support for Ukraine, as well as addressing the latest developments in the Middle East. The meeting, chaired by the bloc's foreign policy chief, is expected to cover additional assistance for Kyiv amid ongoing fighting with Russia, including ammunition supplies and long-term security commitments. Ministers are also set to exchange views on the humanitarian situation in Gaza, regional stability, and diplomatic efforts to prevent further escalation. The ministers are also expected to review further steps to strengthen EU cohesion on foreign policy, including new aid packages, diplomatic initiatives, and coordinated responses to security threats. Members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most powerful and feared criminal organizations in Mexico, have unleashed a wave of violence across 20 Mexican states. They torched businesses and erected burning blockades in retaliation to the killing of their leader, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho. He died in custody on Sunday, shortly after being captured by Mexican special forces. El Mencho, Mexico's most wanted man, was seriously injured in a firefight between his bodyguards and the military commandos deployed to capture him. He died while the military was transporting him from the town of Tapalpa in Jalisco State to the capital, Mexico City. At least 6 of El Mencho's security guards were also killed in the operation, while 3 members of the Mexican military were injured, according to the Defense Ministry. Rodrigo Duterte personally authorized murders and handpicked some of the victims of his war on drugs, the International Criminal Court heard today, as proceedings against the former Philippines president kicked off. ICC Deputy Prosecutor Mame Mandaye Niang said that the week-long confirmation of charges hearings, where judges will decide whether to open a full trial against Duterte, was a reminder that those in power are not above the law. The 80-year-old was not present at the court after the court, in fact, granted a defense request for him not to appear. Despite judges' ruling, he was fit to take part. Supporters and relatives of victims of the anti-drug campaign traveled from the Philippines and across Europe to attend the hearing, calling it a crucial moment for accountability. Duterte has repeatedly denied wrongdoing and defended the crackdown as necessary to combat narcotics. A major storm is hitting the U.S. East Coast, and more than 5,000 flights within, into, or out of the country have been cancelled for today. Winter storm warnings stretch from North Carolina to northern Maine, with warnings also in place in parts of eastern Canada. Up to 2 feet of snow is expected in some places. It's the first time in 9 years that New York City has been under a blizzard warning. The snowstorm also has snarled travel along the East Coast from Washington to New England, with officials urging people to stay off the roads. A team of young rangers is bravely combating illegal logging and poaching in a harsh environment, helping protect the habitat of wildlife in a core area of northeast China, Tiger and Leopard National Park in Wangqing County of Jilin Province. The team was established last October and comprises about a dozen young patrollers. They are tasked with safeguarding wildlife in the forest area that is home to roughly 20 Siberian tigers and more than 40 Amur leopards. Zhao Jiwei, a wildlife ranger of the team, said they have developed special methods to protect themselves if they encounter dangerous animals in the forest. In just 3 months since its establishment, the rangers have assisted in solving 22 cases related to illegal logging and poaching and have rescued 31 wild animals. We've got business update next. For now, a short break.
India and the US have deferred trade talks which were set to take place this week as they study the implications of the US Supreme Court striking down the Donald Trump administration's global tariffs. An Indian delegation was due to travel to Washington this week to finalize the terms of an interim trade deal which was announced earlier this month. The agreement reduced US tariffs on Indian goods from 50% to 18%, even though several aspects of it remained unclear. The Supreme Court ruling has led to new uncertainties as Trump said he would impose global tariffs of 15% on all goods coming into the US. The new developments come after a chaotic few months for Indian exporters who have been grappling with 50% tariffs imposed by Trump, which came into effect on 27th of August. The duties included a penalty for buying Russian oil, which Trump had long criticized. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva reaffirmed Brazil's commitment to strengthening ties with South Korea as he delivered the closing speech at a major business forum in Seoul. Speaking before an audience of business leaders and government officials, Lula highlighted the strategic importance of bilateral cooperation and the potential for expanded trade and investment between the two nations. During his state visit, Lula met with South Korean President Lee Jae-myung to sign a series of agreements covering a broad spectrum of sectors including agriculture, technology, energy, and general business collaboration. Officials described the accords as a concrete step toward deepening economic ties, promoting sustainable development, and encouraging joint ventures. The agreement followed growing engagement between Brazil and South Korea in recent years, with both governments emphasizing the benefits of collaboration in high-tech industries, renewable energy, and agribusiness. Netflix says its takeover bid for Warner Bros. Is better than a rival, one from Paramount, because it would expand the business and the industry. Last December, Warner Bros. Agreed to a takeover offer from Netflix for some of its assets, but Paramount has made a rival offer. Last week, Warner Bros. Gave Paramount until the end of Monday to submit a best and final offer ahead of the shareholder vote on the Netflix deal next month. Netflix has offered $27.75 a share in total for Warner Bros. Studio and streaming networks, including brands such as Warner Bros., New Line Cinema, and HBO Max, leaving the rest of the firm to be spun off as an independent company. However, Paramount's $30 per share bid is for the entire company, including the firm's traditional pay TV networks, which are seen as a declining business. OpenAI is expanding its push into the enterprise market by teaming up with 4 of the world's largest consulting firms, betting that a more hands-on approach will help corporate clients move beyond pilot projects to full-scale AI deployments. The company said on Monday it had launched the so-called Frontier Alliance, a program built around its New Frontier platform and anchored by BCG, McKinsey, Accenture, and Capgemini. The initiative pairs OpenAI's forward-deployed engineers with consulting firms to help companies integrate AI agents into core business processes such as software development, sales, and customer support. While OpenAI has previously worked with consulting firms to sell its technology, Dresser said the new partnership is designed to help companies embed AI into core workflows rather than run isolated experiments.
And with that, we move on to sports update. Nepal women's national football team is making its debut on the global stage with an encounter against DR Congo and in 12 April 2026 in Thailand. As the FIFA Series 2026 opens on March, it features 48 national teams across 12 groups, marking FIFA's largest ever friendly series, spanning all 6 confederations. FIFA announced the full schedule on Monday, confirming that each team will play in a structured format designed to crown one group winner even in friendly competition. Other hosts for this edition include Rwanda, Australia, Azerbaijan, Brazil, Cote d'Ivoire, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, New Zealand, Puerto Rico, Switzerland, and Uzbekistan. The The match is running through March and April 2026. And with that, we move on to weather update, first from Nepal and then from around the world. And that brings us to the end of this edition of NTV World News Hour. But before we wrap up, let's have a look into the headlines once again. Curfew lifted in Birganj as prohibitory order remains for the night. Gaur Rohtahat calms after days of tension. Nepal's election body tells parties to keep children out of elections. Spokesperson warns against involving minors in publicity campaigns. Bus accident in Thading kills 19. Government forms task force to probe the Prithvi highway tragedy. Ethanol petrol policy gains momentum in Nepal. Officials push ahead with 10% blending despite production challenges. Iran's foreign minister warns his country would be forced to strike back at U.S. interests in the Middle East in response to any renewed attack. And Nepal's star footballer Samba seeks support for surgery. National captain's plea raises questions on player welfare in the country. And that is all for the moment here on News Hour in NTV World. Do join us through our social media and also get the latest update through our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Sarah Sapsanamarai. Thanks for staying with us. Good night.